We are Brightside Home Theater.
Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast is all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
There we go. You nailed it. Let's see, did you nail it?
The scenes.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Pretty close.
I wasn't missing my mark this week.
Nope, nailed it. There we go. Literally coming in hot. Just sat down. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've had a challenging week like you,
Yeah.
but it's okay. I'm not anywhere near to your level of grief. Mine's been okay. Had some unusual stuff this week. Hung around with some movie vehicles, and saw some people racing. Yeah, racing
nice.
some cool
Good
stuff around the
times.
tracks. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
that was fun.
That's
I
right.
didn't get behind the wheel myself, unfortunately. That wasn't what I was there to do. But as much as I wish I had, but I did get to see not the Shelby GT500, the Supra from Fast and the Furious, and the what is it, 1967 Dodge Challenger, the Bullet vehicle. Is it 67?
That's the Mustang.
The Mustang.
That's a Mustang. Yeah, the green Mustang. Yes.
Yeah, so I saw that too, and got to see someone race that, and that sounded awesome. That would be my audio of the day, because that thing just
really
like, oh yeah.
So you like that one?
Shelby.
Yeah, I know we had this conversation already, but let's bring it to the listeners. You like that one over Eleanor?
Yeah.
Really?
I'd have that over. I mean, they had Lamborghinis there, they had Ferraris, they had Aston Martins, they had Ariel Atoms, they had everything there, and all of it was being raced around, and the Supra and the Shelby, as I said. But I'm telling you now, when they kicked over the engine or turned it over in this Mustang, it's awesome. You know, it's old school, just muscle car.
So is Eleanor though. Eleanor's old school. What's Eleanor? 69? Is Eleanor 69?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but this just somehow I mean, and also it helps that having been in San Francisco and having seen one at the light, we were down on the dock of the bay there, and it was kind of cool. So it took me back. But the sound of that thing at full tilt going around this track was awesome. So yeah, I'd choose that car all day long over anything on that track, including the Fast and the Furious stuff, even the cop car, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
An American cop car of all things.
Yeah.
But I would have the Bullet thing over that all day long. Nice. But as I said to you last week, and of course the listeners don't know, they're wondering why we're talking cars. But if this particular track does an experience whereby you can be the criminal fleeing this cop car, and you've got like 10 laps to basically stay away from it.
It's a Grand Theft Auto in real life.
Exactly that. Yeah, with fewer restarts. And you could be the cop.
Do they have the prostitutes on the course?
I didn't like to say it. No comment.
I ran over 3 of them on that lap.
Do I get points for that?
Yeah, exactly.
So so you can do both. And next time we go, I think I'm going to have to be one or the other. I can't work out whether I want to be the criminal fleeing the cops or the cops trying to catch them. But either way, it just sounds fun to me.
Be the criminal and then represent yourself.
Yeah. Get done for speeding. Yeah, that's it. I fought the law and the law won.
Yep.
So so that was a fun week,
awesome.
and that was good fun. And I've got to say, I have had 1 or 2 exceptional home theater experiences this week.
1 or 2?
1 or 2. One definitely. 2 nearly.
I literally haven't even looked. I haven't, like I said, just as we were coming on, I'm like, oops, that's not the button I want to hit either. I'm like, we're flying by the seat of our pants here. I haven't even looked at the picture. I get them as they go, so I know, I have an idea.
Yeah, one of them.
I'm with you on, but I have no idea what we're doing. Like, I got to look at your stuff. But while I'm doing this, I do have some hot off the press information here. Our buddy Brett Bjorkquist. He's like,
Mm.
he texted me, literally just got this. I was driving home, so I haven't had a chance to read it. I am reading it live now, so hopefully this is suitable for air, Brett. So that make sure he wants me to say this. Keep it quiet. Okay. Feel free. It ends with feel free to share with your listeners would be interested. I was like, all right. So he says, hey, I just launched a giveaway, or Brett just launched a giveaway for a set of B&W TX7 S2E headphones, and I'm about to launch another one for attendees of M-Wave. I'm recording and editing a video for the M-Wave one tomorrow and have the current one here. Facnatics, Bowers & Wilkins PX7 S2E headphone giveaway contest, and the link is here, and I'll put that, let me see if I can put that into the show notes. I might be able to if I can do it from here.
You've done links in the chat before, haven't you?
Yeah. I gotta drop it into the chat right now. See if I can't do that. Nope. Can you hear that? Did you hear that? No. Okay. Nope. It didn't come through. All right. Here's the link, and he says, "Welcome back, Facnatics." Paste. Boom. All right. That link to that. That's that one. Now let's try this. There we go. He always opens up the same, just like me. So I don't know if that's a new one or. There you go.
No, Travis. No.
What did Travis say?
Hey, DJ, if I send you a text, would you read it live without screening it first?
Not you.
No, not from our Travis.
If people knew what we talked about, it was just that one time at camp.
Camp?
Yeah, exactly. It's not a flute. Facts expert guide to Bowers & Wilkins wireless headphones. So those are the links for his reviews on them. And so I just sent the links through there, and I'll put them also in the show notes for people listening later. But yeah, check that out. I'll be seeing Brett at M-Wave as well. Sorry.
So I know you're okay, buddy. I thought you'd stopped on that. The couple of people in the chat noticing the shirt. Yes, this is the Nostromo shirt, and yes, it's because of the Alien Romulus trailer which dropped today. There we go.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Which is absolutely awesome. I know that Paul's not a fan. Paul Hurt in the chat. We've been talking. But
he doesn't like the trailer or the whole movie thing.
I think the trailer hasn't done it for him. But for all of us that are Fede Alvarez fans, we are jonesing, counting the minutes to August. I will be there opening day. Can't wait.
I wish I could say that.
Yeah, well, yeah. And yeah, you like the Alien movies?
Oh, I love the Alien movies. That's not the point. It's like it's whether I could say I'm going to be there is a different story.
Yeah, I get that. Actually, Deej, can you while we're talking housekeeping, can you hear some buzzing? Can you hear any buzzing?
I can't. I don't hear anything. Do you?
Can you hear
Jesus.
Can you hear any buzzing?
Oh, God.
I think that I'm pretty sure I can hear some bees.
Your dad jokes now? Your puns? Jesus.
So I'd wind you up with the fact that it's arrived from America, Deej. There you go. Look, I bought it.
Nice.
Aren't I a bad boy?
Yeah, you are. Bad boy.
Bad boy, yeah.
Hey, we have a new Patreon member, Vince.
Ooh.
Just yesterday came through. $20 Blu-ray, bought us a Blu-ray, $20 member. There you go. So I just just as before we sat down, I emailed him, said thank you. Vince also emailed me. We had some Nerdy Legion difficulties on Friday, and we have backups. So like it didn't get spread out to all the podcasts. Like I don't think it made it to Spotify, but it was on iTunes. Obviously, it's always on the website. The MP3 is always there at brightsidehometheater.com. And but Vince emailed me, I think it was Monday, and he's like, I'm jonesing for my Friday, but he goes, I can't find it. And here's where I love Vince, and thank you, Vince, for the $20. He's about to take it back because I'm going to make fun of him. So Vince goes, I can't find it anywhere. It's only on iTunes. You found it. It's there, but
it's like easy come, easy go.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I know people want, because I'm the same way. It's like if you told me it was on Spotify, I'd be like, get it on iTunes. I don't want it there. I want it over here because that's where I go. So yeah, it's just funny. I like a little play on words like that.
Talking on play on words. Jordan's in there. A beautiful film you've got there, Steve.
Oh,
Look at that.
jeez.
We started it now. That's it.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We're shutting it down.
Don't let it go.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Go push play. What he said.
Yeah. That was quick.
That
Early
was
to
quick.
bed.
That was a quickie.
Oh, man. Yeah. So let's say hi to the people in the chat, and because it
Yes,
is rocking,
please.
Deej. It is rocking. And I
Is
have to
it?
say, when I tuned in at 10 to something like that, or quarter to, there were already 30, 40 chats going on and people all jumping in. It's very cool. So Steve Att is first in the chat this week. I was good, Deej. I could have jumped in.
This
Yeah,
didn't
well, for
start
him.
until 16 minutes before. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I could have jumped in first, but I was being good. I wasn't
at you.
cheating this week.
Yeah.
So we've got Steve Att in, Captain EC3's in, Van Ghoul's in, of course.
Yeah.
Dom is in, one more, who saw Abigail, by the way, Deej, really enjoyed it.
Oh, nice.
Although, interestingly, he says he saw it in a 450-person theater, and there were 4 people there. That's a crime with a movie as good as Abigail.
Yeah.
They could have had those 4 in Cinema George. There we go. So Dom's in. We've got Richard Zagozeski. I think I'm saying that right, Rich. Apologies,
Okay.
man. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. And we have got Paul Hurt, of course, is in. Pouring cold water on the excitement for Romulus. Understandably, I get it. We've got someone called Steve George who dropped in several times. Don't know who that is. Some idiot. That's fine.
He's not some idiot. He's the idiot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The idiot.
And then we've got Mike. Mike's in. Mike writes in. And we've got Rach has dropped in. I saw Rach. I saw Jordan has dropped in as well. Travis, as we know, is here, keeping us all honest. And I think we had someone new. Did I just see? I think I did.
Who?
Ariel Lannis is in. Obviously, Carl's in as well. But I think I just saw someone I haven't seen.
Brockstar. Did you say Brockstar? He's in.
Yeah, Brockstar's in. Yeah, Mark Hader's in. Rachel's
Rachel.
in. Anthony. There we go. Yeah, howdy from Houston.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you're new, Anthony, thanks for dropping in. If you're not, apologies. Just forgettable. We don't mean that. So thanks for dropping in, guys. Bill McAllister's just dropped in as well. Gang is all here, present and correct.
Awesome.
So we are there. There you go.
We got Dom talking about Ben Goff. Did you get to hear today's Takeover Tuesday?
I've listened to about an hour of it so far, driving around. Yeah, he's an interesting chap, isn't he?
He's awesome.
Awesome. Can I just say, I took mild umbrage at his suggestion. You knew that. I reckon you heard this and immediately jumped on it when he said that it's not proper home cinema unless it's on a projector screen.
Yeah. Well, that's my feeling too. But yes, and it's, I mean, to each his own, right? I had this conference. A friend of mine in the locker room last night, guy I play hockey with. This is actually Charlie, if he's listening. He asked me some questions last night about Blu-ray players, blah, 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 blah. And he's starting, he's going to start collecting 4Ks. He wants to do this. He doesn't like the way streaming. So and he's literally brand new at this. He's seen my theater, made that comment last night. And he's like, it's kind of intimidating. He's like, once I see that, what do? I can't have that, right? And I was like, we had a whole conversation about that. I'm like, yeah, it's true. It's like a lot of people, that's a non-starter. But he's starting right, and he's got a good perspective, and he wants to just start out. And he goes, I don't have a home theater. I go, yeah, you do. You already start. If you have it, you have it. And he's like, but it's not like yours. That's not a home theater. Home theater is whatever you have, and as you'll evolve. And that's exactly what he's saying. He's like, I'm going to get this, and then I'll get to this, and I'm going to get the sound bar with the extra speakers. Like now he has a sound bar, and he wants to do this. I'm like, you're in it, buddy. You're knee deep in it. You're budgeting so you can get a Blu-ray player. You're convincing the wife we got to spend more on this one. How about you're right where we were. And it's like my son was there, and I go, what you have now is probably better than I had when I started out. So, and it's true. It's like the technology is so much better now, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we're getting new people.
yeah, oh yeah, we are. I think that is to say or suggest. And again, I think he was doing it slightly tongue in cheek, and you did
Hmm.
correct him, and he then I think accepted that. But just not having listened to it all, of course. But what I have heard is, see, I think that's too simplistic an answer to say it's a projector or it's not home cinema. Bearing in mind, I've got skin in this game, of course, okay, because I don't have a projector. But I think it depends on the environment and depends on the
It
room.
does.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, well, it's brightly lit, so you need an LED, or it's dark, so you need a projector. In my room, in my case, they wanted to put in a projector. My installers wanted to do that. And yet at that time, the projectors were not capable of anything like, in fact, they're still not capable of anything like what my TV could do. And I made a conscious choice of, I want something different.
You're also coming from a world where we say that a projector can't do that. In his world, a projector can do that.
Well, yeah, but he's not. But you can't say, can you? And he's not saying. I think it's either my pinnacle or it's nothing. If you'll forgive me, the word pinnacle. But
well,
you know, I think that there are absolutely situations in which a display, a TV display, is equal to, if not better, and more preferable to a projector, depending on the room. And again, not just light controlled either.
And
yeah,
budget.
well, quite. Yeah,
right.
I mean, they were going to put in an 81-inch screen, an 81-inch zero edge screen into the theater room. That was the plan initially, and then a Sony projector, whatever it was, which only did fake HDR at that time. But also, I'm thinking, well, what is the point of a projector for an 81-inch screen when I could buy a display that's 85 and then not have any of the issues that you get with a projector? It just seemed to me to be, and I mean this respectfully, Ben, if you're listening, I don't want you to think I'm being rude. I'm not. No. This is a point of discussion. That's all it is. Yeah. I think it's a little trite to say it's this or it's nothing. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Pretty sure I've read that somewhere.
And when you hear the show, when you hear the whole show, I think you'll get the idea. Like he's exactly that way, right? And he knows, like, in any of the questions that he was presented, I love his answers because they're like, I need more information, or what is this? And it's like, you don't know, like, what does the customer want? What does this? And so you're right. I mean, he was saying it tongue in cheek, but he's like, to me, and even if he's not saying it tongue in cheek, because I'm not saying it tongue in cheek, that's the way it is for me too. But that's my opinion. That's okay. That's what I want. I'm not putting a display into my room. I mean, Giles and I joke about it all the time. Mikey Schramm and Johnny Speakers watched us argue purposefully, but it was like literally like he knows that I will never have a display. Never. So that is my opinion, the same as Ben, and there's nothing wrong with that opinion. When that opinion is bad is when you tell other people you're doing it wrong. And I think that's what you're trying to say, right? And it's like, and I don't think Ben would do that. It's like, I don't think he's like, nope, you're wrong, done.
No, but it's just it's this idea of, you know, because I've encountered it before. This is why it mildly got my goat a little bit, albeit again, I think it's just about discussions, you know, because I've encountered that before where I've had people, and he talked about the uninitiated, talked about the kind of people that think they know but don't know. You know, the known knowns and the known unknowns. All right. And he talked about that. And so I've had the uninformed and ignorant say to me, and I do not, of course, mean you or Ben, say to me, as far as you know, anyway, say to me, at least officially, say to me, you know, oh, you don't have a projector, right? So, well, it's not a cinema then. That is, to use an English term, which is still relatively okay for this time of night, bollocks.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it's just not true.
Right. Nope. Just like when somebody, you know, maybe might be in the chat today, tells you if you don't have, you know, a CinemaScope screen, you don't have a real screen. You know, there's people out there like that.
Yeah.
I personally have never encountered them.
Yes.
Couldn't say that with a straight face.
So Travis saying all the talk of home theater dying. No one's talking. Surely,
no.
Is it?
No, there is talk. There is talk, but I'm with Travis. I think, and we've talked about it. It's not dying. It might not be as like popular. And if you go strictly by the numbers of Blu-rays and 4Ks, how could you say home theater is dying when streaming is booming because people don't want to go to the theater? Oh, wait. I was just going to swear. You're telling me home theater's dying when people are staying home instead of going to the theater. So what are they doing at home? That's their theater. Does anybody realize how stupid that sounds? Oh, they don't want to go to the theater. They're going to stay home and watch it. So that's their theater. But yet home theater's dying.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't read anything that says it's dying. I mean, I 100% think this is going gangbusters at the moment. Whether it's streaming or physical media, you can have either. But to suggest that it's dying just doesn't seem right. I mean, it's does not compute.
Yes, Richard.
It is. Yeah.
Yes, I was referring to Giles McCoy. Sorry about that, Richard.
So I mean, I cannot see it. I'm having more conversations with people, not just on here, but obviously generally about home cinema. What is a movie at home? How does it look? How would it sound? What how to get the best out of it, including people that traditionally would not give a two hoots. I wasn't going to swear, to give two hoots about what, previously what it would look like and sound like. And are now suddenly like, oh, so I can get that to do this and I can do, So, I just can't see how it's dying. And frankly, if it was, Deej, we wouldn't be here.
Right. We wouldn't.
We're a symptom of how big it's becoming.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
and Travis, this is a great thought from Travis, and he says the thought HT is dying is the elitist crowd who don't consider anything other than a pro installer dedicated room a theater. And I think it's the combination. I mean, he's 100% right there, because it's the internet that is hurting us, because in this day and age you can get all the information you want, and and that's what I think Ben and I were hitting on. It's you're getting a lot of crap information and you don't know it. And the people giving it don't know they're giving crap information, because they're giving it's how many people are listening to me right now that I've given them the advice that they'll be like, what is this person saying? They're not wrong. It just doesn't translate to your situation. Right. So it's very confusing. When John and I and anybody coming up through the 80s into the 90s, we saw the elite theaters. We drooled over them. We were like, oh my God, $100,000 for a projector. And oh, wow, I'll never forget it. The Runco projector. And you can invert it and piggyback them for a brighter picture. $100,000 and you got to buy two? So that was insane back then. But there was there was no source to talk to the guy doing that told you, oh, you're watching it on a 27-inch Sharp TV. Nobody was talking down to you. So you got to prosper on your own and be like, I'll try. I'll never have that. And I mean, how many people took their projectors from their schools or something? It was a crappy image and they just put it up on a sheet or on a wall. Or I know people that are painting their wall and it looks fantastic. Ira and I have done home theater tours where people just I just painted the wall, and then they paint the black trim around it. You wouldn't even know. It just looks awesome. And like John said earlier, John Thompson said earlier, I had it highlighted here. It was, I forget where it went, but he's like, a home theater is any space that you're trying to recreate a theater experience. And that doesn't mean you have to nail it, right? So if you just put a sound bar in and you sit to your TV and you turn the lights down and you get some popcorn, that's a home theater that you're enjoying it. And then if you have enough passion to get going and you see something like my buddy Charlie saw, and he's like, he bought a TV. He just got an OLED because he noticed the TV was crap. He was watching streaming and it was all blocky. And he's like, that's not right. He's doing it the right way. He's doing it on his own and learning as he goes. So that's home theater. So. Oh,
yeah,
man.
well, that's it. It's an interesting discussion you had, and you guys may well have gone on to it. Like I said, I will get to it ASAP. But it just the way it was put initially, and again, you did raise it, and he did kind of backpedal a bit on that. I think again, I think yes, there is more to it than X equals Y, and that's it. It's just there's just more. But there we go.
And I think he also is like, he's trying to, when you hear more, it's like the vibe you get from him. It's not so much the customer. Like, say you were able to hire him and you wanted to have a display. I'm sure he'd do it. Right. I'm sure, especially with the displays that are coming out now, he's probably in that market where he can do that stuff. You know, it's like crazy, crazy money. I mean, he's doing multi-million-dollar theaters. He's more to the point, and I think you'll get the gist by the end of it. It's not the customer that he doesn't accept. It's the installer that is pushing that. Like, oh, no, you don't need this. You need a not a projector. You need a display because an OLED is the best. And and a lot of people are saying like, and I don't think we said this in the show, and I can contact them and see if I can speak for this, but I'm just summarizing here. A lot of people are they're sacrificing like the size and the experience for that. Like, they'll have a giant wall, they'll have the space, they can do a projector, but then people are telling them, yeah, but it's not as good an image as an OLED. Well, yeah, but it's only 77 or 80 inches. But you know what I mean? So they're sacrificing that overall size.
It's a trade-off. Yeah,
exactly. But if you want to do that and you've made that decision, that's great. But when installers are doing it and they're pushing you and not giving you like the full quote unquote, pun intended, picture, right? And being like, size means a lot more in a lot of cases. So, there's a lot to combat,
Yeah, well, that's exactly what of course happened in my case. I had my installers who were like, "Yeah, we'll put a projector in, and you can have your 81-inch screen." It was me that said, having researched it, no, I want this Z9D because I want the all this stuff. And in fairness to them, they were like, "Okay, well, that's fair enough. We can do that." And they did not push back on it because I think.
But that was at 81. If you wanted 120, you wouldn't have had a choice, right?
Yeah, well,
you were getting an 81 projector. I wouldn't do that either. I'd get an OLED at that point, right? If all my place could accommodate was 81 inches, I wouldn't do a projector either.
Yeah, but quite. That's what I thought was weird in and of itself. But yeah, no, so and again, there was no pushback from that. They were malleable and flexible enough to say, okay, if that's what you want, that's fine. We'll work with that. And there have been some trade-offs to that. We've talked before about the cable length and all the rest of it and the impact on that, because of course they're running the cable from the equipment room up and over in the back. Whereas if it was a projector, it would have been a lot shorter. But I'll tell you now, had I gone for a projector, I would have already had to replace it at least once, maybe twice, because I would have wanted proper 4K, proper HDR, and I would have wanted all of that yesterday. Right. Whereas I've still got my Z9D and I love it, and it still looks incredible even now. So in terms of the investment, again, skin in the game, a little bit biased. I'm still very, very happy with my choice, and I would not go back, not in the current iteration of Cinema George.
But that's what's funny is I know, I mean, we tend to do that on the show, but it's like you say skin in the game, this, that, but that's the point of the show. We don't do reviews. We don't come on here and say, this is what you should buy, or this is what we think. Like, this is what we have, this is what we like, and this is why we like it. You don't have to defend yourself, Steve. You don't you want a display, you can have a display, and that's what I like. That's what I want listeners, people to own your stuff. Don't let somebody tell you what, and be like, shut up. I like it.
We don't suggest it. We don't ever tell people to buy.
You have Beekeeper. I got Hurricane Heist. What are we gonna do?
You've got 12 copies of Bloodshot.
Yeah, I got to work on that. I got to get to 13.
But yeah, Steve Att said, do you know what? Steve Att nicely summarizes it.
Yeah,
happy with my choice is the key issue. There you go.
Yeah,
that and I think that's got to be it.
And you should never have to say that. You shouldn't have to.
True.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it.
But if you are happy, that's it. Good for you. And if you're not, that's when you can start looking at other stuff. But I think that summarizes it nicely.
At the end of the day, like Jocko Willing, make your choice, regardless what happens. Okay, I'm gonna do Jocko Willink with my buddy Charlie. I bought the biggest TV I could afford. Didn't know anything. It was a crap TV. What'd Jocko say? Good. You just learned something. Now go get the TV that you need. All right. I got the TV that I need. Spend a lot more money. Oh, crap. They just came out with a new one. Good. You're moving along. You're having fun. You're not doing this to like put a paperweight on your table and never go back to it. That's part of the fun. Stop complaining. Stop bitching and moaning about the hobby. Like upgrades, having fun. It's like, duh.
Yes.
It's like, Jesus.
Yes. Yeah. I'm happy being
I
miserable.
love racing cars, but damn speed.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate wind.
Well, you should change your diet then. In that case, Deej, I'm just saying. Why? Right.
How did we meet?
Okay.
Jesus. Oh.
Alrighty. So yeah. So and again, guys in the chat talking about issues with just summarizing because there's loads of it about cinemas needing to up their game because of the price of the cost.
Yeah.
Interesting thing today. I don't know if any of you saw it on Twitter. I know you won't have done, Deej. You've been a busy man.
Yeah.
But there was a clip surfaced that I saw today. I can't remember where I saw it. Tarantino was doing a round table, and this must be going back a number of years. And Ridley Scott's at the table, and there are other people there. And Quentin Tarantino is talking about the reason theater is dying, and this is years ago, is the cost. And he said, it used to be the way it was a working man's way of taking in art. So it's not the opera, it's not the theater as in stage. This is how this was working man's art and a way that they would consume that stuff. And it would be $5, and every theater in the US would be $5, and that was how much a ticket would be, and that was it. And he said what's happened is the prices have gone crazy, and he said we have priced people out of the market, and this is why, or one of the reasons. I mean, we talked about others, didn't we, in terms of the experience, but this is one of the reasons why theaters are struggling, and that things are not going well. And there's something to be said for that. I mean, obviously, cost is a big deal. It's not personally the reason that I don't go as often as I might. I'm fortunate enough to have an income that lets me do that. My issue is the experience. That's more my problem, which we've talked about before. But it was an interesting thing that he said, and from someone who's a cinephile as he is, those are views that should be taken seriously. And I think it was from a while back, but it makes sense. Sorry, I just saw John say something about Cinema George. What was it?
Yeah, I got it. I got it right here. I highlighted it. So he says, boys, I can direct you to a number of screens in Leicester Square, the spiritual home of the cinema in the UK that is about the same size, if not smaller, than Cinema George. And it's true. And it's, I mean, a lot of like your art house theaters and stuff, they're smaller. It's a more intimate environment. And that's, it doesn't have to be. I don't want to hammer this away. It's like, it's aggravating because it's like, it's actually the people that are saying it is dying. They're the ones that are saying crap like this. And that's what, it's not killing it, but they're the ones doing the most harm because people do think like my buddy Charlie was saying, like, I can't do that. So why even bother trying? Well, if you want to, who cares? Just, if, I can't skate like Bobby Orr. It doesn't mean I can't play hockey. Right? Like, well, I'm not Wayne Gretzky, but I'm like, all right, I can, for those of you out there, go, who's Bobby Orr? Maybe Wayne Gretzky makes it to your narrative. But
I've heard of Wayne Gretzky. I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't heard of Bobby Orr?
Never.
Oh my God.
Should I have done?
He was 70s. He played for the Bees. He was he was a defenseman, changed the game.
Do I know the Bruins?
Boston Bruins, yeah.
See, I knew that. Yep. Okay, that's fine. All right, then we go. Reach my level.
There you go. There you go.
My ignorance of hockey, Deej, is crazy. I know nothing about it. The thing's called a puck. You've got a stick. You score goals. There was a very famous game between Soviet and America, and it was the Miracle or something. And that's
Miracle
it.
On
Ice.
That's
all I know. Yeah, on ice. Yes. Yeah, that's all I know. That's it. That's my hockey knowledge expired.
But now, actually, I did want to hit on John Thompson.
Yes, sorry.
Since he's in the chat. There, I read that, and I just read that. Now I don't even know how to take that one down. I can't even find it.
Hide current comment. I'll do it.
There you go. Thank you. But John, since you're in the chat, I'd like to thank you personally. That was awesome. Putting, even just you heard the open, right, Steve, when they talking about like John, like, have you listened yet? Have you listened yet? So thank you very much for that. It's great having Ben as a listener and everything you're doing, John. Just spread the word of Brightside Home Theater is pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, John,
Thank
in
you.
fairness, he's been to that place that you were talking about. John won't mind me saying this.
I know. I haven't gotten my phone call yet.
Have you seen the pictures?
No. Where?
John
I would
got
expect
wined
them
and
to
dined.
just text them to me. I know.
Yeah, well, I've seen them.
I knew
Yeah,
the day before he was going there. So
I've seen the pictures of the food.
Oh, for the love of it. Yeah. What's next? You're gonna say you ate it?
Well, I didn't like to say what the phone wasn't very tasty.
No. Yeah, pretty close.
But he was right when he said about his son, his partner's son. It's the chef. He's not kidding. He means it. The food looked amazing. Apparently, they do very nice chicken sandwiches. No, that's just John. Anyway, I'm just kidding. No, they're better than that.
That's great. John comes out of there. It's like $1.7 million theater. The thing's like there's no better like theater in the world. He's like, yeah, chicken sandwiches sucked.
Yeah, it's a 2-star Michelin chef, but yeah, the chicken burgers were just not up to scratch.
So great. Oh yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. Let's see. My
coming out swinging.
Who's swinging? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see. I can see.
I'm trying to turn the AC off there so we don't get. You ready? You ready to hit something here?
Oh, all right. Yes.
Let's do this.
Okay. Deej, have you seen my comment on this picture that I sent?
I don't think so. Let's see if everybody can see it. There it is.
Yeah. Reference audio for streaming.
That's going to come up. That is going to come up later. Faux show. Faux show.
Okay. Well, let me entice you with this, Deej. For those not watching that are listening, this is the First Omen on Disney Plus in 4K, UHD, and Dolby Atmos. Before I get into it, though, can I just publicly once again thank Jordan Carpenter? Because I kid you not, Deej, I had the disc in my hand. I was about to watch a screener of this. I honestly was about to put this into the tray, and I went onto Twitter. It was a DM from Jordan. Jordan goes, "The First Omen's on Disney Plus in 4K and Atmos." I'm like, "Oh my God, right." Off went the disc, and then straight onto Disney Plus. And I then watched this. Now, have you seen it, Deej? I doubt you have. This is the new one. This isn't the Omen trilogy. This is called The First Omen. It's a prequel.
Oh, it's a prequel. No, I haven't.
2024.
My wife and I saw the one that's like the newest one, right? The new where we had what's her name was actually in it. The mom was in it at the end. Was it The Omen?
Not sure.
No, not The Omen.
The Exorcist. Not The Exorcist.
Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up here. See,
you're okay.
I was under a tractor 20 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you feeling better now?
No, not really. Still so diesel from last night. No, but it's on Kaleidoscape.
Now, okay.
So your whole streaming thing, I'm looking, make sure is it there? I swear I saw it on Kaleidoscape.
Should be, because if it's on Disney Plus, it's going to be on Kaleidoscape, isn't it? It's got to be.
Yeah, that's going to come up later too.
Not. Yeah. Okay. So, again, as I said, and Jordan, no worries. He said he was surprised how good it was, and he says glad to be of help. I mean, it was perfect timing. Okay, so yeah, I get that The Exorcist and The Omen, they are kind of interchangeable. We've all seen them, but The Omen, the first trilogy, are really good, especially the first one. The first one's amazing. The other two are good, but the first one's great. Now, this then is a prequel, 2024, brand new. And as soon as you hear the words prequel to something like The Omen, if you're like me, you thought that sounds awful. Why are they bothering with that? Because it's been and gone and we don't need that. And so I avoided it in cinemas. There was no way I was going to go and see that. As much as a fan as I am of the trilogy, there was no way I was going to waste my time on it. I was wrong. And not only was I wrong, I was really, really, really wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't adding to that. I'm like, really? It was that good?
Yeah, really, really wrong. Yes.
Really
This
wrong.
this needs to be seen, not just as
All
a
right.
horror fan, but a home theater fan. And if it's on Kaleidoscope, Deej,
Yeah,
pick it
it
up.
is.
Pick it up, pick it up,
4K
pick it up, pick it up.
HDR. Yeah. Ooh,
Wowzers.
can I do a quick? And we
Go
don't
on, yeah,
really
go for
like
it,
to
yeah.
talk too much about Kaleidoscape here. I noticed
Paul
something
will
on
be out cold.
Kaleidoscape that yeah, exactly. Paul's about to hit the floor. He's drink. Here we go. So on Kaleidoscape, I noticed something. Let me pull it up. I can't pull it up here, but anyways, they changed their format on their stuff, and I'm wondering. This is strictly speculation. I haven't talked to anybody, and a lot of times, I know enough now, and I know them there that if I called them, they'd be like, "We can't tell you anything like that," so I don't even ask. It's if you notice on Kaleidoscape, if you have a Kaleidoscape and you're on any of the files, it tells you now they changed how they list what features it has. So if it's 4K, it'll say 4K, SDR, HDR, HDR10, Atmos, and it'll go down the track. That HDR10 is new. And I'm wondering, are they getting more? Like now we're going to have to distinguish HDR10, because you don't start listing unless there's going to be a list, right?
Yeah, you don't
if you gotta
compare
go to
unless
the
there's something
grocery
to
store and
compare
buy
it
a
to.
gallon of milk, you don't go to the grocery store and go, what did I need? Well, actually, I do now, but I'm old. But if you need a list of things, you have to write down the list. The fact they put in HDR10 is like, aha, that's new. So there must be a list coming. So are they getting HDR10 Plus? Are they getting Dolby Vision? We don't know. But
Have they not got Dolby Vision yet?
No.
Oh, wow.
Not that I know. They don't have Dolby Vision yet. Because, and a lot of people complain about it, but most of their systems are going into projectors, which don't do Dolby Vision, so nobody really cared. So
yeah,
it's already a pretty expensive system. Why pay for the Dolby licensing when the only people complaining about it are the people that, if it had it, I'd get it. Well, okay. Have you seen one? You don't really need it. And we won't need to get into the whole Dolby Vision thing. But yeah, that was I just thought a quick little segment.
No,
Sorry
okay.
back to the greatest movie of the year so far.
Oh, well. Oh, hi, Todd's just dropped in. Hiya, Todd.
Todd, how you doing,
nice
buddy?
Yeah, he's on X, actually. Todd,
he's obviously like my brother. He keeps texting me these out of the blue random texts. One of them was a Folgers, I think, was it, Todd? Coffee commercial. My wife was crying laughing. So it was pretty funny. But how you doing, buddy?
Well, Todd, if you are listening, no matter how briefly, you've come at just the right time. Pin back your ears, because this is going to be one for you, Todd, absolutely all day long. So the First Omen, so prequel to the original trilogy. This is set a number of years before, where it's in Rome. A nun comes to a convent, a school in Rome, and she has a troubled past. And the priests are perhaps up to no good, and things start to unfold from there. And I'm not going to spoil it in any way other than, if you know the Omen movies, you know what they're all really trying to do. So I thought the film was really well done for a prequel we didn't need, for a story we didn't know we cared about. It's actually really well done, and it's creepy when it needs to be. It's downright unsettling at times because of kind of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to bring about. So it's icky and it's all a bit at times, which is what you want from a movie like this. So as a film, it's really good, way better than it's got any right to be. This should have been disposable trash, as you'd call it, rubbish, we'd call it. But it's actually really, really good. Just for people wondering, but I really enjoyed it. I think this film is really well done, DJ. And if you've seen the original trilogy, and it sounds like you have, and if you like those, if you remember, it's all for you, Damien. It's all for you. And you remember those. There is a riff on that scene in this, which is equally unpleasant. So anyway, film's great. Now, what I really want to talk about is the video and the audio. Now, this is streaming Disney Plus, and we all know issues with streaming. Not so much here, because
Oh my
this,
God, this
in
show is
terms
like
of
you'd think we planned this. I can't wait. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So yeah, okay. So the detail levels on this are crazy for a streamed release. All the nuns' habits, all of the kind of the 70s clothing that they're going for here is just razor sharp, really detailed. And there's a lovely moment in this, and I'm going to be careful not to spoil it, where there's a scene where a character is in a dark room, okay, pitch black. There is a POV shot of the character looking into the corner of the room, and something is there. Now, if you don't have a calibrated display, you will see nothing. But if
A
you
long
have
night
got a
all over again.
properly, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. But if you've got a calibrated display, you will see this thing moving. You will see detail that is invisible to anyone that does not have this calibrated. It's a very cool shot. And if you do watch it, Deej, I think you'll be like, oh, wow, I like how
Yeah.
they've done that. So video's really good, but it's still not what I'm here to talk about. Because what I want to talk about is how good it sounds. This is, as I said in that little thing there, I think a new reference level for streaming audio. Streaming. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah, for streaming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is awesome at time, and it's not showy all the time. It's there,
Oh
are,
man, I got
there are
homework
some
now.
explosions, but there's not much. But what there is, and you know by now how much I love this stuff, there are whispers and voices and things that again, I'm sorry to keep saying this when I say it, but that float around the room. They move, and there are proper little conversations and things being said, and the whole movie's like it. And I'm watching this thing like open mouthed. Go, my God, that's amazing. And it is all around the room, and it's just floating with the atmos. It's a beautiful kind of enveloping, quite unsettling in the right way type of audio on it. It's fantastic. And again, in terms of not just a showy mix, I mean, I always talk about, the Tomorrow War, and, talk about, Six
Yeah.
Underground, and we talk about Extraction and movies like that have got the bombast, have got the bang, bang, bang. This has got the subtlety as well as the envelopment. It's really, really good. I highly recommend this. Don't be put off by the 5.1 thing, by the way. I took this picture on my phone. So it's 5.1 on the phone. In the cinema room, it's Dolby Atmos.
Right.
So it's very, very good indeed, Deej. I recommend this all day long. I mean, obviously, if you want to watch it on Disney Plus before you buy the Kaleidoscape thing, you can do that.
No, I'm gonna buy both, and that's why I just said I'm like I got homework because I'm gonna compare them. Because if you're saying the stream is this good, what is the actual like? And we know that audio just has never matched up. Could this potentially be the one? Tune in next week.
Is it? No, is it Evil Dead Rise? No, it's not. Okay, and because that's got the bombast and everything else as well. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Them's fighting words. All right.
This before we'll fight again.
Yeah, well, why not?
That's why they put an ocean between us.
Yeah, keep us apart. We're the Logan Paul and Mike Tyson of home theater.
Yeah.
So we've got it's just fantastic. So it's not Evil Dead Rise in terms of the bombast and the thing, but in terms of the
closer to Gravity, right? It's like the detail.
It is, but better.
Yeah, but better. Yeah, because now you can do it. Gravity's quickly slipping because you can do it now, and people are doing it better. Gravity was just the first, so it's kind of like Star Wars to me, right? Like Star Wars isn't as good as Empire, but it's the first. So Gravity will always be like, that's the one to go back to, because they were doing it. They did that at a time when nobody was doing that. And now we do get more and more of that, which is fun.
Yeah, well, quite. So, I mean, I absolutely recommend this. This should be seen by everybody. Forget whether you're a horror fan. I mean, if you're a horror fan, see it straight away. But if you're not a horror fan, just see it for the home theater experience, knowing that it's icky. Okay, there are some fairly grim bits, but see it for that, and just let this film wash over you. It's not straight away. It doesn't come in second one. The movie creeps up on you, and before you know it, you are enveloped in this world. It's great. Oh, and there's also a very nice performance from Ralph Ineson as well, who is playing the role of the priest who was in the original trilogy as a younger man, and there's a very clever kind of dovetail to that. But yeah, it's great. It really is good. And again, as soon as I finished this, I deleted the comment I put Deej on there and put reference audio for streaming because it blew my mind. So yeah, it's great.
Nice.
See it, guys. Really,
I
really
can't
do
wait.
suggest you see
Yeah,
it.
I'll check it out this week. I'll be able to.
Can't wait to see what you
hopefully.
guys make of it. And again, Jen might really like it, although there are some female bits in this that might be a little bit uncomfortable, maybe.
There's female bits,
literally and figuratively. So it might be a little bit like, oh, okay, all right, but still,
right.
and I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, give it away. Give it away now.
Give it away. Yeah, it's very cool.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, looking
Really
forward to
good.
it. I don't even want to stop pulling stuff up on my phone here, on my laptop to buy it, but you can rest assured. Where'd it go? There it is. It's bought.
Oh, ching-ching.
It literally
and
isn't,
again,
but it will be because we're going to be talking about it again next week.
I can't wait.
But yeah.
Well, and again, thanks to Jordan, because otherwise I was about to watch it in 5.1 on 1080p, and because of his timely intervention, I got to see it in Atmos and in 4K, and oh boy, am I glad I did. So very cool. So thanks, guys.
Yeah. There's some fun chat going on here about you, Steve. And it's
what did I do now?
No, you did a great job.
Oh, okay.
You do a great job. It's like that's why we have you under contract. Steve, we do now.
So
Steve does a better job talking about movies than some reviewers I follow on YouTube. Man. And yeah, he does because he has passion for it. And there are people in the comments talking about like, that what systems they use, and there's something for everybody, and that's like I've always been a person. It's like I don't really complain about what other people do. I just go and do what I want, and what I'm not getting, I try to do. That's why we got Steve on here. I get excited, and when I get excited, I want to tell the world, literally. Exactly. That's why you and I do 2-hour, 10-minute segments.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. In Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. And then Paul Hurt, I love this. Yeah. Because this is the show. This is our community. And here's Paul in the chat. He's like, in just 5.1? Don't knock the 5.1. And it's like, that's like all of the Brightside home theater community. And it's like when I get back on Twitter and I'll see it, I'm sure it's like people like defending like 5.1. And everybody's like, where the hell's this coming from? Atmos is better. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, no, like I said, that's because I took a screenshot of my phone. I don't know if you find it, DJ. I find the Disney Plus screens a bit rubbish. So I thought, well, I'll just get it on my phone. But then, of course, it just says Dolby Vision and then 5.1. So, yeah, don't be fooled, anyone. If you're watching it on a decent system, it is in Atmos. I promise you. Ooh, I see the picture. Yeah. Hot on the heels. We're going horror again.
Yeah, well, I'm just pulling it up because I've only got the one experience that you have, so I have that.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I'm going to tell you, I got sprayed with diesel in my face yesterday, and let's see what else.
Drink it.
No, I don't have a choice. It's like pinch off here and lay under there and do this, and here's the fun with the home. So I got a giant pile of dirt in the front yard, and I got to get rid of it. So I'm using my tractor to do it. Now, I've had my tractor almost a year now. It'll be in July. It's only got 47 hours on it. And I'm like, I thought I was getting good at it, like getting good at driving the tractor. Because you got to, when you operate machinery like this, it's like you're moving hydraulics, you're doing this. And the more you can do it once, the smoother everything goes and the more efficient you get. So I felt like I was getting better at it. Nope. What was happening is there's an inline fuel filter, and over the 47 hours with the kind of work I'm doing, which is it's not like a typical homeowner work, it's like literally new construction, so I'm like doing like real crap, so real crap's flying around and crap's getting in there, whatever. So as I'm going along, the tractor's I did not know, unbeknownst to me, the tractor's slowly getting slower. And then on my brother-in-law, Robbie, he needs to borrow it. And I happen to be I'm trying to get this stuff done so he can come and take it. and it just starts stalling on me. Like I lift something up and it's like, whoa. And you see the gauges go down. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. So I go to the place where I bought it. And I'm like, what do I got to do? And they're like, replace this, this, and this. I'm like, okay. And they gave me 2 fuel filters, and then I scheduled the maintenance to come to the house and do it so they can get it tip top, but that's not till July. But they gave me 2 fuel filters to do and then check the air filter and that. Well, one of the fuel filters that's on the motor, that just takes the water out, and I don't have the wrench for that yet, so I can't do that. So I do the inline fuel filter, this little tiny thing that's like underneath the floorboards. So you got to lay down underneath it. Do everything. I put it on. Steve, it was like riding a friggin' bull. It's like all of a sudden, it's like got all of this power again. And I was like, it was like, what the hell? I'm picking crap up that I was like, I didn't think this could pick that up. Remember I said all the problems I had with my wood stove? I'm betting that if I had changed this filter, I would have picked it up no problem. Because the more power you have, the more pressure you can put on the hydraulics to move it. And if you don't have that pressure, the thing just won't move, right? Never mind the speed of the tractor. I was like, what the hell? 47 hours, but it got clogged.
Is that so? That's just crap in the fuel. It's
diesel. Diesel can get algae in it. It can get, and then I was talking with the guys at the shop, and they're like, try to buy your diesel at places that big trucks go to all the time. Don't go to your typical, why did you buy it? Why didn't you? It is a John Deere tractor. It is a John. All right, here we go, people. There she is.
See, Rich, you've pulled the pin, Rich.
There you go, buddy.
You've pulled the pin.
There it is. Steve doesn't like that. I can't, when it goes to my brother-in-law's, I am washing and waxing it, Steve.
Cool, man. I think it's awesome. Go for it. Yeah, man.
Oh, no. I have no water at the property yet. We have the well, but we don't have power to run the well. So I can't wash this. I will be washing and waxing it. I've already, I paint cars for a living. I already have the paint. So I'm going to be touching my bucket up to make sure that it's like, looks nice. Or getting shut up, Steve.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. I'll be touching my bucket up. I didn't even know that could be a euphemism. Who calls it a bucket?
Well, who could say?
So ridiculous. That's how dumb men are. Call it anything. Call it anything. Just don't call it Stumpy.
Yeah. Don't call it John Deere.
Yeah. Anyways, but yes, I do have a John Deere tractor, and the fuel does get. It's more to do with. They were saying probably could be dusty and stuff like that, but it's also to do with because it only has 47 hours on it, and it's been almost a year. The diesel has a chance to get algae in it. It's like if it sits a little too long, because I'm doing stuff in the house, I didn't have, so it could have been that, and it just clogs it. So when I replaced it, the filter is like John Deere yellow. It's beautiful yellow. The one I took off was black. So
wow.
And
you're not using, we call it red diesel here. I don't know if that's the same over there. Yeah. So that's, is that just a lower grade? Do you think it's just got more crap in it?
No, it's just the nature of diesel. And one of the things I read, and then they also told me at the place, like just use a little bit of the fuel treatment every time. And you won't have this problem. It kills the algae. Make sure. I'm like, all right, makes sense to me. So it's totally, I do it with my truck. Like I had a mechanic tell me a long time ago, put in premium all the time. He goes, you'll have far less motor problems. He goes, it costs more money every time you fill up, but it's proactive. So I didn't know this about diesel. I've never owned a diesel vehicle like this. So that would sit in a normal truck. You burn through it before anything could happen, but this sat around, for winter and stuff. So yeah, there's my experience from the week. But anyways, while I was under it, I do the hoses. I got to pinch it off. And it's like, I'm like, Then I'm skating last night. Still stinks.
It stinks. It sticks. It stinks, and you can't get rid of that horrible bloody smell. Yeah.
So
we've got Greg dropping in. It can be lower grade depending on where you're purchasing it from and their environmental admixture. Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we have like AdBlue over here. Greg, the Awesome Ninja. You may have heard of it.
That's my Greg. Yeah. Hey, I could have used that information a little while ago there. Awesome Ninja. No, I know. Yeah, and
but
that's
yeah,
what they were saying
Diesel's horrible.
at the John Deere store.
Mm.
That's what they were saying. They're like, try to buy it at a good place. That, you know, that uses.
Fair enough. Mm.
So
yeah,
all
I was
right.
glad to leave diesel behind. My car now is petrol. Prior to that, it was diesel. I was so glad to leave that behind. I hate that stuff. It stinks.
Oh.
You know. Well, anyway.
All right. You ready to get to the next? Like, let's get back into a home theater and out from under the tractor. You ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Let me just rub my hands together briefly. There we go. Right, fine. You
Why,
thought
you
I
gonna
was
touch your
excited
bucket?
before? Just hi, John.
Oh, they're chilly.
Yeah. Right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Sting. In theaters for most people, or if you're lucky and you're connected, available for screeners. So this is a screener that I saw. It was a digital screener. It was in 5.1 and 1080p. You won't have seen this, Deej.
No.
Have you seen the trailer to it?
Nope.
Do you know what it's about? Okay, so you're not arachnophobic, are you? You and I have talked about that
No.
before. Not
No.
a fan of snakes, but you're not arachnophobic.
No.
Okay. Anyone that is arachnophobic might want to turn away now.
Right.
Because for reasons I'm going to explain, this film is not for you.
Well, it's in the shadow there. That's why I didn't zoom in on Sting.
Yeah. But it's for a particular reason. It's really not for people that are arachnophobic. Okay, so this is a movie. This is a B movie creature feature. It might as well be called Steve's movie because this sort of stuff is made for people like me. It's great. So this is a movie about as cliched as this sounds, a meteor, Deej, a meteorite lands on Earth, and out of that meteorite comes a
Superman?
creature.
Oh.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, no, that's in Smallville. He's not in Smallville. This is New York City, not Metropolis. So it crashes, right? Meteorite. Yeah. Well, spider. There's a spider involved.
There you go.
Out of that meteor comes a little spider. He's really small. And he is discovered by a 12-year-old girl who is in that picture there, who decides to keep him as a pet. And she names him Sting. Surprisingly enough. And this spider does unusual things. So it can whistle. So she teaches it when it's hungry to whistle. I won't whistle because it'll make a funny noise on the mic. But so she whistles and it whistles back when it's hungry. So she feeds it little bugs and she keeps it in a jar. And before long, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, the jar is opened and Sting runs amok. So far, so B movie. I mean,
didn't they make a movie like this called Alligator? And the same thing. It was in a sewer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
You can have alligator. You can have Jaws to a certain extent. You can have, any creature movie you want where this sort of thing. I mean, there's loads of them. Yeah. I mean, there's a bit of Tremors in here. There's obviously a bit of arachnophobia. There's lots of that going on in this, and it is a horror comedy-ish. It's more horror than comedy, but there is some levity in it. Anyway, so Sting starts then chomping his way through the various people. And it's really fun if you like this kind of movie. If you're a B-movie creature feature fan like what I am, then you're going to have a great time with this. And I did. I really enjoyed this. And I can't wait to get this home. Rumor has it it's only going to be on Blu-ray, but I mean a 4K version of this would be great. So really good fun. And I mean, audio video, obviously it's a screener, but it's got lots of very dark scenes. The whole thing takes place during a big snowstorm outside, which is just a narrative device to keep everyone in the building. Because otherwise, as soon as you see a bloody great spider, you leave, don't you? Whereas, because there's a big snowstorm, everyone has to stay in. So that's why they do it.
They got to trap you somehow.
Yeah. No, so it looks pretty good. It's all nice and dark and as you want it to be. But the audio on it, even for 5.1, and this will be lossy Dolby Digital, I imagine, is really good because there's lots of scenes of Sting and other creatures are in the crawl space. And there is a story device about movement and noises in the walls. So you get, even in 5.1, let alone when we get it in, Atmos or DTS HD, is always moving around. And the characters are constantly looking around as things move. So as they look, the sound moves with them. So it's a really clever, really fun sound mix on this, really playful. So this should be awesome when we finally get it home. I had as much fun watching this as I did with Abigail. And I mean, you know how much we
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time with this, but and I think someone mentioned, yeah, Weta did do the effects on this. There's a lot of really good practical and CG. But what I would say is the reason I say if you're arachnophobic, don't go near this is not only is it about a spider, which people freak out about, but what they have done on this, interestingly, is people that I know who are arachnophobic talk about the way spiders move. That's what they find difficult. And a lot of them find bigger spiders less scary than the smaller spiders because
Right.
the smaller spiders move quickly and the way that they move is different. And the digital effects artists on this have worked that out. And so what happens is the spider in this moves exactly as spiders in real life that really freak people out. And so it's quite a nice little touch, but it means if you are arachnophobic, you're going to hate this because it's everything you don't like.
Right. I have a
don't-
friend. I have a friend that was like, there's a spider. I was like,
Yeah.
and they killed it. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I just
don't do that.
pick them up, take them outside, and like, if you don't want to touch it, you put a piece of paper down and put a cup on it. I'm like, what? If I saw a spider in the house that I was like, oh, I don't want to get like I'm not afraid of it, but it is irritating when you get bit by something. And I'm like, if there's a potential that I'm worried about getting bit, I'll just pick it up that way. And they're like, oh, you're one of those people. Like, guess we can't be friends anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
everything's political
you're one
these
of
days.
those people. Those,
Yeah, look, I'm
you
the same. I
care
can't-
about animals and spiders.
Yeah, I couldn't. I
love
can't
spiders.
kill spiders. Yeah,
Yeah,
me
I
too. I can't kill them. I wouldn't. Same with you. If you think if you're in danger of being bitten by it, you put a bit of paper under a glass and hoof it outside. That's how you do it. But yeah, if you are afraid of them, you will really struggle with this film because of how it moves. It's really well done. Can't wait to see it again. I really recommend this. It's a great fun time for people that are into this kind of stuff. So yeah, I see Jordan's just saying he had a great time watching it. Yeah, Infested's another killer spider film. Director is doing the next Evil Dead film. Ooh, Evil Dead. Well, we've already mentioned Evil Dead Rise once. We shouldn't go near it again.
No,
Not tonight.
No, we got I got to get going. I got we haven't talked about the I don't think we've ever mentioned it on the show, but what would you give it for the heebie-jeebie score?
High. A high heebie-jeebie score. Out of what? Boxes of
Nice.
popcorn? Boxes of spiders.
Yeah, heebie-jeebie score
High
is like for those of you the uninitiated, because Steve and I just made that up. I threw it to him, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So we both like spiders. We don't mind spiders, but like how bad is it in the movie where you're going, like they're on you, right? And you're like, I don't mind spiders, but if you're sitting there and something walks on you, you're like, oh my God, get that off me, right?
Yeah.
That's the heebie-jeebie score. High.
I'd be lying if I said to you when it's finished in the cinema room where I watched it, which is obviously
You
pitch
cleaned.
black. Well, it's already clean. It's me. But
True.
when I turn on the thing with the Philips Hue lights is, of course, when you turn them on, you get shadows, don't you? So you get your light, but they do create shadows. And so when I turned on the house lights afterwards, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't sort of looking around the room a little bit and thinking, is there one up there? Because I have taken quite big spiders out of there before. So yeah, but again, not frightened of them, but it does make you think twice about it. So yeah, it's high on a heebie-jeebie scale. It's off the charts if you've got if you're arachnophobic,
Right?
Because again, the way it moves, this film. Oh, and there is one particular sequence where. Well, I won't give it away, but you know how there's two things people are scared of. They're frightened of the way they move, and they've read about you eat 8 spiders a night, blah blah blah, and they're worried about them crawling inside the mouth, ears, and nose and nostrils.
Oh yeah,
there's
that's
a
a pimple.
sequence
It's
in this.
eggs. Oh, here we go.
Well, there's a sequence in this that plays directly to that fear, and I remember back in, I don't know if you ever saw back in the 80s or 70s. Did you ever see Tarantula? And movies like that. Did you see? There was a sequence in that.
That's like C movies, not even B movies.
Well, quite. There was a sequence with someone in a bath, and they were led on their back in the bath, and there was a spider on the ceiling, and it dropped into their mouth. I remember that. I must have been so young. I remember that. And there's a sequence in this that plays with that. And again, you can see it a mile off. If you're someone with a phobia, it is your worst nightmare.
It is, but it's so funny to me. That's like an irrational fear, because think about is like, how many spiders have you eaten in your life? I do a lot of cycling. You know how many flies I've eaten? You know how many bugs have gone in my mouth? I don't even know what they are. And you're like, but you're not like, oh my God, I'm going to have like fly eggs, or I'm going to have this. It's like, for some reason, they're like these, like there's that myth that spiders are so powerful that once they're eaten, they don't die. Like,
well, I mean, I tell people that that are close to me that are arachnophobic, and they're like, I'm like, it's more scared of you than you are of them. They're not going to come up to you. They don't want to get killed. They're not going to come up to you and just like, come on then, I'll have you, because they're going to get dead. But try telling that to an arachnophobic. They don't see that at all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just because it's a rational fear by definition.
Right.
But this film absolutely knows that there are people can be watching it who do have this phobia, and this is not a movie for you. If you do see it and you've got it, don't blame me, but do tell me afterwards, how many times you had to go to the bathroom, because I'll just be curious. Because there will be some who will really freak out. I mean, seeing this in a theater, in a commercial theater, would be an interesting experience, because there'll be some in there that either don't know what they're going to see or have been misled into going to see it, and then just listen to them scream. But I really enjoyed it. I recommend it. I don't think Jen would look forward to revisiting it.
She doesn't she likes spiders, but if that heebie-jeebies high, she won't. She just like that.
Yeah. And again, where you guys are out in the woods, and of course in your basements, you must get some fairly sizable spiders.
I came in one day last week. I went, and this is the stuff that I think is really cool, where my truck is parked in the driveway, and then you have I have a power line from the street to the house, and just going out in the morning with the sun hitting, you can see the line it made from to my truck. And it's like, I see that and I feel bad. I'm like, oh, the poor guy's been working so hard all night, I'm gonna pull the foundation away, pull out the truck. But I've come in the house and you've got like spider web on you or something, like you just come through, you're just so used to it around here, you don't care. It's like, whatever.
Yeah,
so
well, quite.
Just make sure they're not on you.
Well, that's the thing. Have you got venomous spiders in mass?
Nothing deadly. We have it'll just be, like I said, just irritating.
Yeah.
It'll just be it'll cause a welt or something, like a bee sting. It's just, I'm sure, but then you have other ones that are just normal. They're not.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have any venomous spiders here, but you've got some that will bite and you'd know about it. But other than that,
yeah.
Sorry, Bill.
Bill McAllister. Just Steve and DJ talking about Sting has me brushing phantom spiders. Like, so apparently this week's Brightside Home Theater show has a high heebie-jeebie score.
Just the effect we have on people, Deej.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about cars earlier, and people were like, ugh.
Yeah, well, quite. But genuinely, Bill, and I know, I think you're joking, but if you are worried about it, don't do it. Seriously, because this film knows you've got those fears and plays with them, then shows you them and says, look. So just be warned.
It's probably the writers and creators and stuff probably have those fears, or talk to people just so like, how do we trigger that? How do we hit on that? Because people like that, it's like, I hate that stuff. I'm in. Sicko.
Todd says, have you seen We're the Millers? I have. That's the Jennifer Aniston one, isn't it? I think We're the Millers. I think that is. If that is the one, I think it is, then yes, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure.
I feel like I have. I think my wife and I saw that.
I think I've seen it, but I can't. Is it Jennifer Aniston? I'm not sure. But yeah. Anyway,
I think I know what he's talking about. Yeah. God.
But again, Todd, this is one for you as well. You'll get a kick out of this. It's not your stalking slash type movies that we've talked about before, but it is a fun creature feature. So if you're into that, this is really cool, and it come out of nowhere. So it's not this year's Cocaine Bear.
They're all talking about spiders.
I've already brushed up my Chryso spider.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I mean,
this week I had a bug out. All right.
Yeah. You see, I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
Yeah.
I think I have.
Yeah. We won't put that up on it. Well, why not? There we go.
Yeah.
It didn't get taken down by YouTube, but yeah. Spider bite to Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
Mm.
That's what I was like. I think that's the one I'm talking about. And it's like
Yeah.
any of that.
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure we did. We went through a little phase of watching recent comedies that we'd
Yeah.
missed, a few months back, only in the front room. I'm sure
Yeah.
that was one of them.
No,
think
my
it
wife.
was.
But that's the one where they're not a real family, but they're like going at Jennifer Aniston. What's his name from? Yeah, Ted Lasso. There. What's his
Yeah,
name? I
yeah,
forget his
yeah,
name,
yeah.
Sorry.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. They're in a
Yeah.
they're in a
Yeah.
motorhome and they're
Yeah,
driving around, and
and-
you've got the other guy that played not Nicholas Holt. Who's the other chap? I
Yeah.
always confuse the two of them.
But yeah,
that's
yeah. But there
I've
was.
seen the
Yeah.
outtake where they play the theme from Friends, and that Jennifer Aniston gets a bit freaked out. She doesn't like that.
No. Jason Sudeikis. Thanks, Dom.
That's it. Cheers,
Thanks,
Dom.
buddy.
Thank you. Merci. Yes, got it. So anyway, Sting, very good, worth seeing.
All right. Nice. All right. What else have we got here? So
Ooh, we've got our one. Are we going to do that now, or do you want to do another one of my not horrors?
we're gonna end the show with that one.
Okay,
We'll-
let's
so
do
we'll
this.
do-
Will Poulter. Thanks, Tom. You got it.
We'll
Thank
do two more. We'll do this one here, and we'll save the other one
Yep.
for next week. That you
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
wanna
Yeah,
do
that's
that?
good because it'll give me more time to see that thing from next week.
Okay. Let's
I've only
see.
seen one episode of that.
Let's do that. So we'll do this one here,
All right.
and then we'll wrap up the show with if you get a bug out now, you might miss out because it's gonna get hot and heavy in here. Hot. All right, you ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so this is the Long Good Friday, and I know Paul Hurt is anxiously waiting to discuss this in the chat. So this is the Long Good Friday. Now, Deej, have you seen this?
No.
Neither had I until
Yeah.
yesterday. Now, this is a classic, and I can say that without any fear of being corrected. It is a classic British gangster movie. So I shouldn't be calling it the Long Good Friday. I should be calling it the Long Good Friday. All right.
And
It's a bit like
what's
this.
his name there in the image? Second
Bob
one in
Hoskins.
from the left. Yeah, was in The Crow.
Was he?
Yep.
Was Bob
He was
Hoskins in The Crow?
Pretty sure that's him. That's he owned the pawn shop.
No, it's
Didn't
not him. No.
That's not him?
This is Bob Hoskins. He was Mario in the Mario Brothers movie. He was in Who Framed Roger
Yeah.
Rabbit. He was the
I
detective.
thought- oh,
It's
I
not.
always
Yeah, it's
Roger
not.
Rabbit.
Right.
Nailed it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Just
Bob-
reset
Bob
my
Hoskins.
thoughts. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, don't worry.
I
Yeah,
thought
you're
he
okay.
was the one that owned the pawn shop. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're
no.
right. You're right.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
a good character actor. That guy, I must admit. I know, but yeah, no. This is Bob Hoskins. He's a bit of a British legend. All right.
Yeah.
No longer with us, but there it is. So anyway, I'll stop my crap London impressions now. So
Yeah, you're such a stickler for accents.
yeah, well,
and-
indeed, yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I'm not a professional actor. One of the reasons.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the only one. Otherwise, it would have been a glittering career. I could have been a contender.
Yeah.
So this is a classic British crime gangster movie, and I've known that it's a classic British crime gangster movie for a very long time, but have never seen it. And so this was an opportunity. It came out here not yesterday, the day before. It came out here last week. And I'd missed it. And then I finally had a lot of shenanigans getting hold of it. And it turned up on Saturday. And I watched it yesterday evening. And it's a really good film. I can see why it's a classic movie. It's got everything from that era. It's 1981 this came out, but it might as well have been late 70s. And if you were and if you're British and you were around in the late 70s, these movies all have a similar feel to them, a similar story, similar dynamic. And this is dripping in late 70s crime drama. That's why it's a classic. And it's about a guy. Bob Hoskins is a gangster who is in London, and he has hit upon a money-making scheme, and some Americans come across from America for him to assist him in this endeavor. And suddenly his henchmen, that's Bob Hoskins' henchmen, start being picked off, and he's not sure what's going on, and he's not sure what's happening. And the movie's a bit of a what's going on, and the whole thing takes place on Good Friday, hence the Long Good Friday. Makes sense. So it's a good film. It's violent, I have to say, for a late 70s movie, or 81 movie. It has some gore in this that I'm surprised they got away with, including spurting blood veins and all kinds of stuff that I would have thought
Ooh.
might have led to it being banned or given an X rating, because it's properly
Right.
gory in ways that, you know, I was surprised with. So anyway, so you see that there's a lot of fun to be had in Spot the Actor. You'll notice a couple of people there from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch, but there's also Pierce Brosnan turns up in it, very young, who pops up a couple of times. Yeah, very, very young, and he's got wonky teeth as well. So
Pre-Remington Steel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So he does look different, but he's in it. And so yeah, really good film. I really enjoyed it, and Helen Mirren is in it, as Bangle says. Yeah, she's in it as well, looking very young and, you know, pretty attractive, frankly. You know, a while ago, she's very nice. I'm used to her being really old.
I think she's pretty attractive now.
Yeah, well,
I mean, for an older, I mean, absolutely, Helen Mirren. Yeah. So, but in this, she's a, you know, what we'd call a dolly bird. You know, she's genuinely the kind of the arm candy, you know, the trophy wife type thing. Whereas, you know, you wouldn't say that now. Whatever else you'd say about Helen Mirren, you probably wouldn't say that. You right? You got bugs in the face, spiders? No, I'm like, you like had all these euphemisms for like a trophy wife. What did you call it?
A dolly bird. We call them a dolly
bird. Did you say a
trophy wife?
Trophy or Trojan wife?
No, trophy wife, as
trophy
in
wife.
Look at my wife.
I got that. Yeah,
arm candy. You know that. You know,
take your pick. Hear that comedian that's like, you know, his wife's like, I'm just your trophy wife. Do you ever hear that guy? He goes,
no.
Trophy wife. What the hell kind of prize? What did I lose?
Well, so she's like that in this anyway. She looks very young in this, and you know, as she would be, because it was 81. But it's really good and a really riveting story. And I've got no idea if it'll come out over there. Yeah, I can see Greg's laughing his head off. You're gonna try and live that down now, Deej.
Oh no, I'll own that.
Yeah. I mean, Trojan wife. What? She looks like a horse. What are you trying to say?
No, I wasn't. There's many ways I could go with that one. Like you can, and I won't even do that because yeah. What are you trying to sneak in? I don't know. I mean, this is something.
Look, I know who Greg's wife is, and I'm not getting in trouble again. I've been buried once. I'm not having it twice. Otherwise, we're back to the Crow again. Yeah, I've been resurrected. So anyway, so it's really good, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know if
we're not a naturally close family.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's all good. So yeah, so I don't know if it's coming out over there. I don't know if it is an Arrow release or whatever it is. You know, with the little color there. Is it Arrow?
Yeah.
I think that's who it is.
Yeah,
I always get them confused. So I don't know whether it'll come out over there because it's so British. It's properly British. This, so I don't know whether it'll travel. But if it does, I'd recommend it. You know, it's well worth seeing, and it'll give you a slice of late 70s, early 80s British life that I think you might find very quaint. You know, when you see the cars they were driving and you see the clothes that they're wearing, I think you guys will find it very funny. You look at it and go, oh my God, like, yeah.
Even this image here just makes me think of like streets of San Francisco and I'm typing streets here.
Yeah. Well, the ones that it reminded me of as I was watching things like Get Carter, same sort of thing. You know, these movies that are of that era that really kind of scream, you know, old school gangster stuff. You know, I mean, the Craze, you know, all this sort of stuff. It all kind of, you know, they're slightly different decades, but it's a similar sort of setup.
Yeah.
So
it's
in terms of the film,
Escape, that's good. For sure.
No, well, I'll be surprised if it travels, to be honest. Paul, I know. Yeah, that's Charlie Fairhead from Casualty. Sorry, that's a long-running TV show here in the UK. That's the guy on the left. Who's very young. It's good, and I enjoyed it. Now, the good thing about it is this is in 4K, and get this, Deej, Dolby Atmos from 1981. Yeah, I mean, I checked the box twice because I think that can't be right, but it is. You can have it in mono, or you can have it in Atmos, and never the twain shall meet. So you just, I don't know, but there it is. So it looks exactly as you'd want.
You know, you can have Atmos in mono though.
Yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
They could say like it's Atmos, but it only wants the sound to be right there, which would be mono. And that's what it would be. And it's like,
well, this is 7. You know, the full Atmos, full range Atmos, or 1.0. so you could choose. Yeah.
1.6.
So there it is. So we get so it looks exactly like a movie of this era should look like. It looks like film. There's grain, but it's not Karate Kid grain. It's actually decent grain levels. We always go back to Karate Kid.
I know.
It's grain.
I love that.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shorthand we've got. And the good thing is, people listening longer will be like, "Oh, I know what they mean."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. It's grainy when it needs to be, but it's never a problem. It's colorful, exactly as something from the 70s would look like. It's very gaudy, stuff in the houses and in that kind of stuff. There's a red Mercedes-Benz, a convertible, which leaps off the screen. And of course, when you do get the blood and the guts, and it looks great. I really like how this looks. It reminds me of movies of 4K discs, like Get Carter, The Italian Job, Don't Look Now, movies of that era, again, slightly different decades, but that looked exactly like this. So it's really good. There's no print speckles. There are no blemishes that cause any issues. And then you get the sound. Now, you'd expect this would just sound like nothing. It would just be a front heavy, that's it, and enjoy it because it's a drama. It's not an action movie. But there are Atmos moments in this, bizarrely. You get some music that goes right around the room, and the music of this is quite well known, and that sort of moves right to the back of the room. There is an occasion where a character dies, and he's discovered by his partner, who screams. And as she screams, she's in a building, and as she screams, the camera then the shot cuts to someone outside who was looking back down the street and up towards the building. And when it happens, so she screams loudly, it cuts to him, and that scream comes from the rear upper speaker right above you, literally at the back of the room, like it would be if you were in the street and you had heard it. And that's quite a clever little thing. I didn't expect that. It's quite nice. And there's a couple of occasions where there's rain and there's kind of water moving, and you can hear that around the room. It is not by any means constantly enveloping. It is not by any means a demo sequence ever, but it's there, and it's nice to have. And I was pleased to hear it in that way. So yeah, this is a good disc of a classic movie. So I mean, as Paul says, I think I'm upgrading. Paul, I recommend it all day long. It's not super expensive. So at $21.99, I think it is over here. So if you're a fan of this, you like it, this is how to see the movie. It's good, really good. So I was very pleased with this. But yeah, like I say, Deej, if you like Lock, Stock, I know you like Snatch, the more modern gangster movies, but this is kind of what they are. They're harking back to this in a more modern way. So you might get a kick out of it. I think you enjoy how it looks more than anything else. I think you get a kick out of the very British aesthetic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but it's worth seeing if you get a chance. I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good.
Cool. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, John in the chat. I saw this today. I almost bought it just before I came on. John Thompson in the chat saying, guys, David Fincher's Zodiac 2007 just dropped in 4K Ultra HD with HDR on Kaleidoscape. So, and when he's saying guys, I think he's talking to the people in the chat. But yeah, so that's a
Paramount release, isn't it? So that might mean we're going to get it here soon on 4K disc. That would be very nice. I like Zodiac's a great movie.
Yeah.
And Paramount have been raiding their back catalogs recently, so maybe we're going to get that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Paramount. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, $14.99 too.
Wow.
$14.99. I was going to do it before the show, so I might as well just do it now anyway.
That'll be a great movie. Now that's one of the films that going back to the installations, when they were installing the TV and everything else, they put on Zodiac on Blu-ray. Just have a little look at it. And I saw it there with pre-calibration of the TV. And then, of course, when Vince Tio had calibrated it, I then watched it again. And it is a very different experience when it's properly calibrated. It's a great-looking movie, as all Fincher movies are. Yeah. So, yeah, very, very good.
And I didn't even realize you got Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr. together even before Iron Man even came out. This was 2007. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
it's only a year before Iron Man.
That's what I mean. It's a year before that, but then Jake Gyllenhaal, he's awesome. Anthony Edwards, yeah, awesome.
That's a great film. Great film.
Yep.
Yeah. True crime.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it is Paramount, Dom says. Yeah, so great. Okay, yeah, I look forward to that. Thanks,
All
John.
right. Here we go. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah. I was born ready for this one.
This is gonna get hot and heavy in here. Hot and heavy.
Are you going to be courting controversy this week, Deej?
No.
Oh, good.
No,
Oh, good.
I think
Okay.
I think you'll agree, actually.
Okay.
Once you hear my retort.
Right, lay it on me.
All right, here we go. We always open with the positive, so take it away, Steve.
We put John. I'll tell you what. Let's take John's comment
got it.
down. There we go. So people say, "Yeah, all right, well done." Okay, so this is Godzilla Minus One, which keen and regular listeners and viewers will know. I talked about a few weeks back on a screener that I'd managed to get my sweaty mitts on. Now this is now dropped finally on Netflix. Which is interesting because Amazon have got all the other Godzilla movies. But anyway, it dropped on Netflix over the weekend with not a lot of fanfare initially. And I think the reason for that is it rolled out at different times around the world. It all happened in one day, but it rolled out at different times of the day. And this is in 4K, Dolby Atmos. And, it is what it is. Now, I rewatched it again.
In Japanese.
In Japanese, but with English subtitles. Now, the screener I had some weird subtitle quirks, but this, sorry, forgive me. Yeah, so it is in a Japanese track with Atmos, with English subtitles, which is exactly how this should be watched. Do not be tempted if there is one to watch this with dubbing. Don't do that to yourself.
It's awful.
Watch it as it's meant to be. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God! Because
Did you try it? Did you?
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Oh,
I've watched it.
Well, you didn't watch it with subtitles.
No, I did. Oh, no. Oh, well, that's what I was going to say. I started, like, when you hit push play, it just, my Netflix defaults to English, no subtitles. So I'm starting to listen, and I'm like, what the? And I was like, this is, and I knew right away, we've done enough of these that you're like, all right, just switch it over to the, Japanese language, and then I have to put my subtitles on. But listening to the dubbing that they did, it's like, I mean, I don't know if they did that on purpose. Now that I think about it, like the old Japanese Godzilla movies, and like it was awful. And I was now thinking of it, maybe they did it that way on purpose because there are better actors out there. There are better voiceover work, better people doing it now. It really was bad. And I was like,
well, hopefully it was designed that way to make you not want to listen to it and watch it properly.
Or make it feel like the old school, like, that I used to watch when I was a kid. So it might be a nod to that. Like, imagine that in the director, like they're doing the voiceover. Like, no, you're too good. Can you dial that back and be crappy, please?
Yeah. Where's that guy from Police Academy? We need him in here. So that's interesting because mine defaulted to Japanese Atmos and English subtitles. I didn't have to play with it at all. It did that. So this is my second viewing then, and as soon as it dropped, I made time on Sunday to watch it, and I rewatched it. And as a movie, I wasn't quite as emotionally invested second time round because I knew what was coming. But the first time I found it very, very engaging indeed. And then this time it's really good. The emotion, the family drama that's at play here, but it didn't quite hit home as hard this time because I knew what was coming. However, that doesn't take away from it. And the action scenes are still brilliant. And I still really, really, really like this movie. And I think it's very, very well done indeed. So in terms of the film, it's great. Now, we talked about that before and nothing's changed. So now in terms of the audio and the video was really good, I thought. It's not exceptional by any means. I think it does suffer from the stream a little bit, so that it at times, I mean, whilst it's supposed to be desaturated, it is supposed to look like post-war Japan. I think that there are some shots that aren't as sharp as others. Some are great, but some are not. And some of that, of course, will be CG and will be deliberately, shot at a lower resolution because of the CG. And they had a very limited budget on this, even for a Godzilla movie. So it's not perhaps visually exceptional, not compared to some of the stuff we've seen. But it's all right. It's serviceable, and I can't wait to the 4K disc. And then we get to the audio. Now, I'm still yet to have the bass fixed. So the sub, I'm still operating one sub, not two. So I've got to be careful about what I say about the bass because I'm not getting what I normally get. Okay, well, and so, well, in terms of the experience and what I'm used to, I can't really compare the bass on this to anything else because I'm not running on all subs. So I'm not. It wouldn't be fair to me, to people. Sorry, fair to me. Wouldn't be fair to listeners for me to say, oh, there's bass or there's not, because I'm not getting what I'm used to. So I'm not going to go near that. But in terms of well, you were allowed to. You were running on all cylinders, diesel or not. Yeah,
diesel or not. Yeah,
so
and diesel.
Yeah, well, quite. Whereas in terms of the envelopment, though, I thought the envelopment on this at times was really good.
Yeah,
really good. The first time you hear Godzilla roar, and Godzilla's in this movie, I hope that's not a spoiler. Right, but the first time you hear Godzilla
minus one, you just gave it away. Maybe it was.
There's another, yeah. When you first hear him roar, that roar goes to every corner of the room, and every bit is. I love how expansive that roar is. I really like that, and of course, I didn't get that in the screener, so this was like, whoa! I really liked that, and I liked how he stomped about, and I liked the guns are not that great, but it's okay. And then you get the planes, and it does open as I predicted it would, with the plane coming over the top, and sure enough, it's right in the overhead speakers. And then as the planes are used later in the movie, they zip right around. There are some great pans in this where you've got big character in the foreground, people know what that is, or in the background, plane in the foreground, and there's a couple of pans where it goes round the room and it goes right across the front. And I really liked that. I thought that was really cool. And the big sequence, the one that I was looking forward to the most, even with the bass reduction, I still thought looked and sounded great. And it was enough for me to get someone else in who's been really dying to see this, just to show that little bit. And they were suitably in awe, which I think is what it's supposed to be. Now, will the 4K disc of this be better? Yes, it will. Do I think there is room for improvement? Yes. And obviously not just another sub, but there is room for improvement. Okay. But as a stream that we've been crying out for, to see this in 4K and in Atmos, I was more than happy with this. I accept it's going to be better, and I kind of know what you're going to say, I think. But I did enjoy it, and I think it's good enough, is what I would say. It's not excellent, it's not reference, but it's good enough until I get the 4K disc, which better be coming out or else. Otherwise, there'll be me stomping through Japan. So, but that's my view. So otherwise, I did think it was good, and I like it, and it's a hell of a movie. Anyway, Deej, lay it on us then.
Absolutely, I agree with everything you said. It is a hell of a movie. I mean, it was in theaters. People saw it in theaters, are like, this is going to be awesome at home. This is going to be an amazing 4K disc. Can't wait to get this at home. The movie itself, it's like, you don't even need the enhancement of home theater. The movie is just that good. Especially when you consider it's a Godzilla movie, right?
Indeed.
So, and so when you get this, my first bright side of it is, okay, this is a great example of how good Netflix does streaming. You opened the show earlier with, this is a great example of like what this is, reference streaming material. When you know you're producing something for streaming, it's you know your limitations, right? So you know there's going to be compression. So when you want to make something more dynamic, you have to accentuate it so that is more dynamic. You can do it. Paul's in the chat. We all know, like Paul heard, it's like there's ways to do it if you know what your palette has, you know what your canvas is capable of, you load your palette accordingly. Okay? This was made and shot and produced to be seen in a theater and to be seen at home, and I was effing pissed that Netflix bought it, that they allowed them to have it, because this is an example of like Netflix does some of the best streaming stuff out there. Then they purchase this, put it up there, and we're kind of screwed, because does that mean that they're not going to allow the disc? Because Netflix typically doesn't put the discs out. This to me is just like, what? We're screwed. Like when we get the disc, it's going to be great. And this was good, but it was flat. It's not, it didn't have the dynamics that we'd expect out of either a stream. Like, I've been going through the Daredevil series and stuff. Those had more dynamics than this. Are there some nice base shots in here? Are there some nice scenes? The scenes are great. You and I talked about it a little bit before. It was like awesome pans, everything. My remote lit up a little bit, but I was at +8 and it barely, I mean, on 4K, this is going to, knock the roof off the house. It's going to literally shake the foundation, So if Ben Goff is playing in he could probably bring down the building. You haven't gotten to that part of the show yet, where he can literally bring down the building with his theater.
I know he's got 16 subs.
Yeah, but we get into some nitty gritty and it's pretty funny. But yeah, it's just the idea of like, yeah. And this is why I know Travis isn't in the chat anymore, but like home theater isn't dying because people are pissed. People are getting angry. Why don't we have this? How do you say home theater is dying when people like pissed we don't have certain content yet? Nobody gets angry if something's like, who cares about that? It's a dead hobby. No, want to bet? There's I mean, and I'm one of them right now. I'm like, that scares me. If Netflix puts something out, if they produce it, they make it, I know they're doing a great job with it, and I don't really necessarily need it in 4K. I'd like it on disc, I mean. But when they grab something like this at a time like this, I know they're trying to make money. I don't blame them. I'm just like, it's just, do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think, and again, this is pure conjecture, but based on kind of trends and what we're seeing, all of the other Godzilla movies, both Legendary and Toho, are on Amazon. I think, again, pure conjecture, but I think Netflix have swooped in here and taken this from Amazon, and they would have paid an absolute fortune for this.
Yeah.
Of that, there's no doubt. But I would be very surprised if that included you're not allowed to release it on disc, because it's already out in Japan anyway. And so I suspect this is a limited window that Netflix will have paid the money. So we've got an exclusive for 6 months, for argument's sake. Then you'll see the 4K disc.
That's a long time, though.
It's here. No, I get that. But in the meantime, we've got this.
And that's horrible.
It's not horrible.
It's like flat. It's like, it's
Really?
it's going to be so much better.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
it's
do.
like,
I do.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we got Fall Guy in 6 days practically. And now we're going to wait 6, it's like, I just don't like what's going on here. And it's like the popularity of it. And again, I'm not blaming Netflix. They're doing a great, business wise for them. This is smart because they're like, look at the popularity. People are begging for this. So Netflix, great business move, but literally pulled the rug out from under us. Potentially. Because if we don't get this for another 6 months, that's crappy. Because it was barely in theaters here.
Yeah,
it was pulled out of theaters kind of the same way. You're like, it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah, but if it was a choice though, Deej, between, I mean, again, who knows what goes on behind the scenes, but if it's a choice between Toho saying, okay, we can license this to Netflix or Amazon, whoever's going to pay the most money, so you can see it now, or we can make you wait another 6 months or a year and you won't see it at all until then. What would you
why
choose?
Does it have to be either or?
This? Well,
why can't they just give it to us on disc now?
Who knows? All right, they can't find the keys to the cabinet
because they know, like, I think this is like everybody's their last, like, this is this year's Maverick. Okay, so Maverick didn't come out on disc for a long time because they were milking the box office because people were still going. Don't blame them. Makes sense. What they're doing here, and this is a trend that I get it with the Maverick situation because it was still sold as one entity, and it was like, okay, here it is. And it's like, and I'll be totally honest too. I'm 100% biased. Has anybody noticed? I almost swore again. The crap that goes to Netflix or anything that goes to Netflix, it doesn't go to Kaleidoscape. So it does. I can't get it there either. If it went to Disney Plus, Disney releases their stuff. Netflix doesn't. So yeah, that makes me angry too. I'm not going to lie about that. But at the same time, it's like what I see here with Maverick, it was the actual studio was milking it for their profit. Here we have the studio selling it to people. They're literally passing it around for us to, like, teasing us, meaning the people that want the physical media. Like, we can't have it, but you can have it like this. Ugh. You know, like, all right. Or
yeah.
It's been
here's a
brutal.
turn up, Deej. Here's a turn up, Deej. I'm bright siding this and you're not.
Yeah, but you're bright siding. You're just happy we got it at all. When if under any other circumstance, any other movie, this already would have been out in 4K on disc already.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm happy we have some form of it. But do you understand the reason you're happy we have some form of it is because they've already teased the crap out of us by releasing it in 4K UHD in Japan with no English subtitles purposely, so nobody in the world can watch it other than Japanese people in Japan. So they're like, here you go. Here it is. Oh, I can't watch that version. Oh, no. Oh, there it goes again. I can't watch that version. Oh, here's what. Oh, it's a crappy version. It's like, what are they doing to us?
Yeah, you see, I don't think this is a crappy version, though. I mean, it's, as I said, I think it's good enough. I get that it will be better on 4K disc.
Yeah.
I 100%.
Yep.
But this will do me selfishly.
It does me too.
Until we get it. Because, and the other thing is, this is your other thing, again, we're talking about it from a business perspective. If this way they maximize the money that they make, which gives us a sequel, and we get another good version of this, I'm happy for that as well. If the Netflix exclusivity means it's in profit, yay.
No, Steve, what you're missing the part where you like I said it, if it was on Disney Plus, if it was on Amazon, they all release 4K discs. Netflix doesn't. Did this go to physical media purgatory? What if we don't get the disc?
Well, if we don't,
because
then I'm
Netflix
with you.
blocked. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, quite.
Because
but I don't
they
think
paid
this
all
is
this
that movie.
money. You pay all that money, and they're going to put it out on disc anyways.
Well, we don't know what they paid. We don't know how they did it. But this is an exception. Deej. Bear in mind, things like The Irishman did come out. You know, there are movies on Netflix.
We still don't have Greyhound. That went to Apple, but that was COVID. But that still went to Apple, and it's for all intents and purposes.
Well, Apple bought that,
physical media purgatory.
Yeah, well, they bought that film. They
did.
Owned it,
and that's what
this
Netflix
is licensed.
Just did.
I don't think they've bought it. I think they've licensed it. I think this is a stopgap until you get the disc. I don't know that deep, and I'm with you.
I hope.
If this is all we're going to get, and this is it for Godzilla Minus One, I'll be as pissed as you are. All right, I get 100%. I'm with you. We'll storm Toho together. We'll both stamp across Japan. Okay, you could be Mothra and I'll be King Ghidorah or whatever it is. Yeah, all right.
Sure, you get to be king. I get to be some
obviously
prince. I get to be a mob,
but a big one. You know, spread your wings.
Pain in the ass, but
well, indeed. So you know, I'm with you. If that's it, if this is all we're going to get, we'll storm them together. But I don't think this is. I think this is an exception. I think this is Netflix seeing a chance to steal a march on Amazon and make a quick buck for a short period of time, and then we get the disc. Because if the plan was only ever to do this, why create a disc version in Japan? Why do it? If the idea here is we're only going to let you have it streaming, why would you let them have it in Japan and not anywhere else? Why go to the expense of all 3 or 4K disc if you're then going to limit your market?
Well,
the idea is, isn't it, so you can.
Not only that, I don't know what Netflix paid, but we all see the numbers on 4K sales. We see Blu-ray sales. We see all that. Great. So instead of reading, I got a translator.
Commentator.
Yeah.
And there comes Godzilla.
Yeah, I see that. No, it's even if it's a delay, it's like, wow. And Netflix probably paid a fortune, and they, whatever studio, which it Toho, what is it?
I think it's Toho, yeah.
Toho.
Yeah, Toho,
So
I think. Yeah,
they're looking at it going, what Netflix is willing to pay, we're never going to see that number in a 4K sales. Might as well, right? I get it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's brutal for us.
Yeah, so John says that's because streaming is not a thing in Japan. Yeah, but John, presumably, though, again, why would you go to the expense of authoring that disc if you're then going to lock it away behind the walls of Japan and it'll never see the light of day? That makes no business sense whatsoever. You license it to Netflix, get a load of cash in the short term, and then you release the 4K disc. And then those of us like us who are enthusiasts who want it best, Netflix get their subscribers, because this is now number one in Netflix across the world.
Oh,
they get their bump in their numbers, they're happy, and then it goes to disc, and we all snaffle that up. I mean, that's what's going to happen, isn't it? I hope.
I hope. Yeah. Jordan in the chat saying, he's like, you never know, a label like Criterion or Arrow could do a 4K release for Godzilla Minus One. And it's, Jordan, you know the business side of this better than I do, but that right there doesn't make sense, because even like Criterion, Arrow, any of these, they've got to get the license to do that. They're not just sitting there going to the movies and filming it and putting it out. They have to get the license. The way this has been licensed and the way that they're like, literally, I'm not joking, they're teasing us with it and moving this around. Eventually, however we get it physically, will be something like that, criteria, or they just put it out. I get that. It's like, but it's not like somebody's working on it and they just haven't gotten to us yet. This needs to be properly licensed, which it is in all cases. But the fact that it went to Netflix just scares the crap out of me. It really does. And it didn't until I heard it. And when I was listening to it I listen at reference level, not anything lower. And I'm like, this isn't even like Daredevil season 3. It's like, it's flat. The dynamics aren't there. When you turn it up, it was great. You're right. Flat pan, regular pan, doesn't matter. But this thing is going to be absolutely bonkers in 4K and in a physical release. And just to hear it, I was just like, and again, it's not horrible. It is great. But I know how good streaming can be. This wasn't that. And then the fact that Netflix likes to hold up, that's their business model. I get it. And the fact they did that, I'm like, it's like, even if it's just a 6-month delay, that's even crappy. Because
would I like it another way? Of course I would.
Yeah.
Well, can we get it 4K? Of course. But to get it like this, the movie we've all been waiting for, I'm happy to have been able to have the chance whenever I want, for however long the exclusivity is, hopefully not forever.
Yeah.
But, to be able to watch it when I want to see it. I thought the audio was better than that. I didn't think it was flat. Again, I can't really speak to the bass, but I didn't think it was flat. As soon as Godzilla opens his mouth, whether he's the Godzuki or whether he's the full size, spoiler alert, you get, that there is presence there. You feel this bloody great big thing is lumbering around the room.
But you've been to like, and I know this from my experience right now, like when I'm watching, like I said, watching any of those Marvel shows on Disney Plus, it's like I go 2 weeks straight watching nothing but streaming Marvel shows and stuff. And you think it's fantastic, great dynamics, great this and that. Then I'll go and throw in a movie or something. And you're like, holy crap. That's what, it's like changing the fuel filter on my tractor. Like, wow, I just opened up my theater. Right. I'm not saying, is it possible? I'm saying this is why. It's like, you've been without your other sub for a few weeks now. Everything has been flat to you, relatively speaking. No, and that's not even a joke, right? So like, you wouldn't know that if your subs were supposed to go deeper on the movie you watched previous, you wouldn't have known. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. So when this one didn't go deeper, you're like, that's just like the last one I just watched. But you see what I mean? Like you're handcuffed. So everything is that's normal to you. And that's a great point too, is like a lot of people that don't have the systems that can pull out what the difference between streaming and physical is. I understand it. I'm not arguing with them. Streaming is really good. But when you have a system that can pull out the difference, there is a difference. And I love when you hear the people on social media like, there's no difference. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And now that's in your case, Steve. I would be willing to bet that's what is you might be like closer to my camp had you had both your subs, because you'd be like, yeah, it was a little flat and that is a little disappointing, but it's going to be a great 4K disc, right?
Yeah, and I'm open to that possibility. I mean, again, this is why I'm not talking about the base when we're talking about these movies at the moment until I get my other sub up and work it again, or the two replaced. It's not fair to do that because I'm used to one different thing. But that doesn't mean there's no base. And there, you know, there is. I'm fun enough watching the thing we'll talk about next week earlier tonight, where when it came out, we were talking about how there was no base. Oh, there's base now.
Did that scene have base? The one that we know
that episode yet.
Oh,
but the first episode.
All right, I'll have to get there. I'm going to try to grab it and get there.
The ships in that first episode are basey as hell. You know, where they've got no reason to be. So I've got is actually overcompensating now. And I can feel it in the floor. You know, even when the one side, I can feel it in the floor. So that episode, that's episode 2. So I'm looking forward to trying that out, which I will for next week.
Yeah. I'll see if I can grab it.
So yeah, it's not as though there's no base, and you know, in this again, it feels like there's stuff there. But yes, I can't sensibly talk about the base when I'm only really when I'm down a sub basically. I've got suboptimal subs. So yeah, but once it's sorted, then I shall look forward to it. But I'm happy with this as is. I'm glad I've got it. I'm glad we can see it. I'd rather this than nothing. But you know, don't get me wrong. 4K disc, day one purchase, all day long.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I knew it, day one purchase before I even saw it. I mean, just the reviews of it, the home theater review, people's, you know, in cinema experience. Yeah, I can't wait for it. Yeah, Ariel saying not flat in his opinion. Great. I think it's a combination. And it isn't. It's not dead. I had to listen to +8. I was listening to that, and it was good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It's the combination of everything that's kind of got me like a little bit flustered about this. It's just like if it was Amazon or Disney Plus, or I probably wouldn't even care because I know we're getting it. Netflix or Apple TV Plus, that scares me because they tend to hold on longer. So
yeah, I mean, we just don't know, do we? As far as we know, it could be coming out next week. We just don't know.
And I'll have a sigh of relief.
I genuinely think this is one of the exceptions. I think this is a licensing for the short term before we get the 4K disc. But you know, look, none of us are experts. Who knows?
But the good news is, Steve, there's a crap load of content. It's like as angry as I get about this or anything that we're not getting. Has there ever been a week where like, oh, sorry, I'm out of crap to watch?
Oh yeah. Do you want to see the pile of stuff that's just there that I need to see?
I've told it before. I remember
I really
Marcus,
need to see this. I think it's
no, you don't. Let's go watch Hurricane Heist. That's
I've got a friend of mine. He's every day he's saying, when are we watching Beekeeper? When are we watching Beekeeper? And I'm like, well, you know, so they haven't seen it yet though, in fairness.
We never talked about why I don't like that off air, did we? I don't think. Did we ever? Did I tell you that it's like?
No, you said you were going to. We didn't. Yeah, we need to do that. We'll do that in a minute.
Today.
Yeah. Well, when we get rid of all these people that are hanging around.
Yeah, exactly. The bees.
The bees.
Yeah. No, that's Marcus. When I'm a podcasting acquaintance friend of mine. He lives 2 towns over, as a matter of fact. And I met him. I've told this story, and I told him I was going to do this podcast, getting some advice on doing one by myself and stuff. And he's like, "What are you going to talk about? How long is that going to last?" And by the way, he was doing a movie review podcast. That's what he did. It was called The Boxers. Great podcast. But they reviewed the movies, like Siskel and Ebert type, right? And I'm like, I'm going to do the sight, sounds, and scenes type thing. And, you know, not really talk about the movie, talk about like he's like, is there really a lot to talk about there? I don't know. Everybody in the chat, you tell me. Everybody like, holy crap. And like, we literally every week, we're like, I didn't have time to get to that. I didn't have time to get to that. And it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I mean, we're
it's a shame
never
it's
stuck.
dying, right, Steve?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know where that's come from. I mean, I get Travis has said it because Travis has got his finger on the pulse, but I haven't read that. I haven't seen that anywhere.
Oh,
I must have missed that memo.
It's a buzz online. It is definitely a buzz
Wow.
online. Yeah, there's people talking about it all the time and people using it as a headline. I've used it. People use it as a headline, and if you use that as your headline, like, is home theater dying? And I was one of our good listeners keeps forwarding me that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to read it. I'm like, it's clickbait. You're using the negative for the clickbait, and
it's nonsense,
like,
isn't it?
How do you make that a positive if it's not dying? I'm like, I tell you right now, and I'm like, boom, I'll tell you, is this the golden age of home theater?
No.
It's the same thing. It's the same statement. It's like, or was that the golden age of home theater? Same statement. Did we experience the best and we're on the downside now? But you can put a head, but nobody's clicking on golden age of home theater. No, they went, is something's dying? What are we talking about? Nope. That's why I started this podcast. I hate negative.
No, just someone who I think's new in chat, just weighing in. Stacey can. So hi, Stacey can. So yeah, so say Godzilla minus one. I think that means wasn't flat per se. The base wasn't where it should be or as dynamic as it could. There you go. So that's kind of there we go.
Right. So that's flat. It's like dynamic is up, down, and this was like more like this, which that's why I use the term flat. It's you get closer to, if you have really big highs and lows, that's dynamic, and that can go in picture too. Like high contrast, like if you're shooting for HDR and you know it's streaming, you go really, really bright lights and dark shadows, and you can do all that. And then when you compress it, it's still going to come through as a pretty good HDR image. That's a really simplified version of it, but there are ways to do it. And Netflix are masters at it. This wasn't made by Netflix.
Although I did like that shot in that my favorite scene in the city, where you get the mushroom cloud and you get the brightness of that. Yeah. That's a lovely HDR shot, that one. I really like that.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah, that's going to be amazing on disc, too.
Oh, yeah.
I can't. I mean, we'll get it, I hope. But
I think we will. I genuinely think we will. It might be a while, but I think we'll get it. I'll be very surprised if we don't. Toho, I think, know exactly what they're doing. They're built. We talked about it before. They're building anticipation. They're making you want what they've got, and they're going to rinse every penny out of this. Yep. And I think you license it to Netflix because you say to Amazon, "We'll go to Netflix if you don't let us have." Okay, Netflix, let's have your 100 million, whatever it might be. And bearing in mind the movie itself was what, a $60 million budget, so you're going to be going, right, we'll have you. 50,
I heard
60,
it was
60 million, wasn't it?
I thought it was 10. I thought maybe I read it wrong. I thought I read something ridiculous, like
60. I thought it was. I think 10
you can't
might
make
be
a movie for 10 now.
No, well, that's it. That was the title screen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was 60. I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure, but anyway,
keep talking.
They're going to read. Oh, no, John says 10 million. Yeah, it just says 10. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I thought it was 60. No, there we go. That's me. But so they're going to rinse every penny out of this and then use this to leverage loads more of them.
Yep,
so
budget
if
15 million on IMDb. 15 says on IMDb. So there you go.
Any advances on 15? We've got 15. Any advances?
We got 15. We'll get you to 60 sooner or later, Steve.
yeah. That's it. We'll get there eventually. Yeah. So that maybe that's just kind of what they earned in the box office or something. But they're going to rinse every penny out of this, and it's annoying, but as long as we get it in the end, that's fine. And this will do for me until then, because I know I'll watch this another 3 or 4 times on Netflix. This will become like Army of the Dead for me, just a film I can watch and just really enjoy as is. But hopefully, unlike Army of the Dead, hopefully we will, which was of course Netflix exclusive. Hopefully we will get the 4K disc of this eventually. Yeah, we'll see.
And we did have Steve Att in the chat. I want to hit this one too, talking about incredible movie, so well done on the budget they had. Still can't make Godzilla walk properly.
Little legs.
I'm sorry, I took it down too quick. And I think Paul actually jumped in on this. It's pretty far back in the chat. I'd pull it up, but I think Paul Hurt jumped in on it too. That's actually a nod. That's like when they first made these movies, it was a guy in a suit. They could make it better, but they're still keeping that look of a guy in a suit. That's why Godzilla looks like he's shaped like that. And one of the things, and Steve, I love you, buddy. But what I love is like when you go and two Steves I love right here, Steve Att and Steve George. It's like people making fun of things that don't exist because they're not realistic enough. It's like when you made fun of what's his name and his accent, and he's in space in the future. You're like, how do you know
God,
that's not
Ben
accurate?
Kingsley in Ender's
Ben
Game.
Kingsley in his accent, and he's like an alien in space, and he didn't have a proper accent.
He's supposed to be a New Zealander.
No, he's an alien in space.
Yes. Well, in which case he should have stuck with Nanu rather than trying to do a Kiwi accent.
Maybe he was trying to make an accent that does not exist. Because his
that
character
accent does
not exist.
Yeah, that accent definitely doesn't exist.
But then, like, to take that to like Steve Att, it's like, oh, Godzilla's legs aren't right. Oh, so you've seen a lot of creatures that come from the center of the earth, and that's what their legs look like.
What I like
Maybe
about
it
that
stunts their leg growth down there. I don't know.
It's happened. It's all that seabed stuff. Yeah. What I did like about it, I do like how just about every time Godzilla comes on screen, you get the old school musical cue, that dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
That was very cool. I really did like that. That jumped out much more to me this time than on the screener. I thought that was great. I really like that.
Yeah.
And as a direct nod to the very old Godzilla movies.
A lot of great nods in this. Yeah, even like the city shots, a lot of great nods that you like. The only thing that was missing was the Matchbox cars.
Yes.
Tiny Matchbox cars.
Yes.
I mean, there was such a, I know we're late here, but we started late. But are you good, Steve? Do you have to get up?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, no, a few minutes. No worries.
I love the separation we had back then. Like, because like the scale was never right. Like you knew that was a Matchbox. You knew like those trees, they didn't look real. Water splashes, right? Because like this giant splash of water, because they're doing it and nothing was to scale. It was just everything was way, way off, but we just loved that. And now they do such a good job to make the water droplets the proper size. Like, a spray of water is an actual spray of water, not
well now
with a water balloon.
Now they win an Oscar for it.
Right.
You won an Oscar for best visual effects. I mean, who would have thought? Now I'm not quite sure.
Stuntmen don't get an Oscar.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
But I don't think personally, I don't think it's quite worthy of a VFX Oscar. But I still think the VFX are very good. Yeah. It's not quite. I think that the Academy got a bit swept up in this. I don't know if John Thompson's going to tell us what he voted for.
Is it possible? Well, he did say everything that he voted for won. So it's a very humble way of saying he's right on everything. John's like, that's it. I'm done. No, he's laughing. Is it possible it's the nod is what got them they could have gone better, but they used the effects and still gave the nod to the old. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I think there was some
because you can
emotionality in it. Yeah. Exactly. To quote another dinosaur movie.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think so I think there was a bit of emotionality to it. People got swept up in it because I don't think it was the best effects work of last year, but I still really like it. And and it's very well done. And again, bearing in mind, Legendary have done their MonsterVerse and they've got their Godzilla, who moves more or less how the American sort of view of Godzilla would be. Whereas, so this one does pay homage beautifully to the old black and white movies, but still, I don't think it's hokey. I mean, he may walk a bit weird, but I don't have an issue with that. It's still, it's really well done. Again, it threads the needle. It walks the line of homage and update and not not take the mickey out of it. So yeah. I think it's great. I love the movie. The film's great, and it just, again, this will do for me until we get it properly. But as long as we do get it,
as long
properly,
as we do,
yeah. If we don't, I'm with you. We'll like I said, we'll storm the offices of Toho, and we'll demand the 4K disc, or we'll get Japanese friends around to just tell us what happened. That every now and then they just shout at the ceiling, Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Be like, you're just right there. That wasn't flat.
Nope.
I was like, I was right there. Yeah. No, it's great. It's very, very cool. And bring it on. Oh, actually, Jordan's got a interesting point there about something I was thinking about. So another example is RRR, one of the most expensive Indian films ever. American dollars budget considered quite cheap. Yeah, but we never got a 4K release of that either, did we?
No,
that's another Netflix movie.
So there you go.
I still think this is different now.
See, you based on what?
Feeling in my water. That's all it is.
In your bucket?
Yeah, well, indeed, yes. I'm just hoping, I'm
on that
I am convinced this will be different. Yes, indeed, yeah. On that bombshell, absolutely.
Oh man,
all right,
good stuff. All right,
lots of great stuff this week.
Got us fired up. Fired up.
Yeah. Who would have thought a Godzilla movie would have done that?
No, it's a great one too. All right, yeah, we'll get on that. You got to get Steve to bed. It's getting late, and we still got to talk a little spoilery a little later.
Oh yeah. What about this?
Spoiler. Yeah. So funny. All right. Thank you, everybody, to chat. Vince, thanks for being the latest Patreon supporter. If anybody wants to join Vince, just go to the show notes. It's down there. Patreon.com/Brightside Home Theater. $1, as little as $1, or you could go as high as Vince, $20. Blu-ray. There's a whole. What's the one in the middle? Steve's even a support. So am I. Because I wanted to see if it was working. You're I forget what it was called.
There's a box of candy, isn't there? And
I think there's a box of candy. Maybe I think you got a box of popcorn, right? It was like $10
I
or
think
something.
So.
Whatever it was.
I think so.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I can check. But
also, also someone asked in YouTube. I think it was Richard actually asked via YouTube last week, and I did send him the link about t-shirts and merch and stuff. So Public, we say someone asked about it. I did reply to that. Richard, in case you didn't see it, but I did reply. But yeah, Public, just Brightside Home Theater, and it's all there. Yeah.
Or go to brightsidehometheater.com and you'll see the merch button in the top. Just click on that. You can go there. It's in the show. I think Public's in the show notes as well. And yeah, that's, thanks for asking. I've seen more and more people are getting stuff. And like I said before, as much as we'd love, there you go. Van Gool got his shirt in yesterday. Cool. Thank you. And as much as the monetary support is awesome and welcome, very much needed at this point, it's growing the show as the t-shirts. Like, we make next to nothing on it, but that's how we get more people, because people see it and they're like, home theater, what's home theater? I thought that was dead. No, they got t-shirts now. So there you go. I gotta put that shirt up. Brightside Home Theater. Home theater's not dead. So, all right, everybody.
Unlike the crew of the Nostromo, who unfortunately are dead.
Yeah, well, fictional crew. So.
Well, indeed.
Yeah. All right, everybody, have a great week. Thank you very much. As always, what are you gonna do?
Go push play. What he said.
What the heck? All right, let's try that again. What are you gonna do?
Go push play. What he said.
There you go. That's right. Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.